actually got Kyle and Crystal Jenner on your podcast, Poggies. Chat, Marco. I'm glad I found you guys. Yellow heart, yellow heart, yellow heart. Hi chat people, hey. BB latte time.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker, and this is the HasanAbi podcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles. We are live and alive. Boys, girls, and MBs. I hope you're all having a fantastic one. Okay? I do. 71 degrees and sunny here in California, Los Angeles, and this is a beautiful Thursday morning. Thursday, June 24th, 2021, 11:22 a.m. A little late by 10 minutes. It was because I was doing a podcast earlier with Crystal Ball and Kyle Kalinske. So,
book.
That's the reason why I was a little late. That's also the reason why I had this background. Will you talk to me about Sam Harris and center right, some IDW folks? No.
My nose isn't runny anymore.
Anyway, today's gonna be a big one, boys. Gonna be a big one. We're gonna talk about the Free Britney movement, Britney Spears Conservatorship. We're gonna talk about John McAfee, which is basically like a fucking deep dive into murder mystery slash. It's literally like a murder mystery slash politics thing.
Have a good day, Hasan.
I'm also going to talk about the woke general. I'll probably get started on that one and the counterpoints and how angry people are. Also, as of this is also breaking news, but Joe Biden claims that he has a deal on infrastructure with the bipartisan group of senators. We got to look at the details of that situation, of course. I am not too excited about it because, this was an infrastructure bill that was absolutely unnecessarily turned into a bipartisan bill. So, of course, the most Democrat thing you can do. Most Democrat thing you can do basically is to take something where you don't need any bipartisan support or help and turn it into a bipartisan bill for no virtue.
1 month into you.
Just for no reason other than the fact that it is bipartisan. That's it. Bipartisanship in and of itself is held up as a virtue. We're going to talk about that as well, obviously. Sorry, I'm doing already politics before I do my before we get to other stuff.
Hassle.
McAfee had a dead man switch? Shut the fuck up.
Six months down, many to come.
Okay.
Has.
The only thing nearly as bad as the fact that they watered down the infrastructure bill is that Cinema and Manchin get the hoist as a W. Yeah, I despise these people. So, I mean, don't get me started. We'll talk about it. So why mom on TikTok calls her baby crying? White girl tears? We'll see. Anyway, this is part of the news where I, tell you a little bit of my personal life. I watched Loki. I ended the stream last night. Rated Will. Congratulations to Will for his G4 announcement. And I hung out with my family. I rated Will and I went and I hung out with my family. We watched Loki last night. It's pretty fucking good, honestly. I like it. Apparently people are very mad that Loki came out as bi. I didn't even see that part. But like Loki has always canonically been bisexual in the Marvel franchises and also just in mythology as well. So I don't know why. Like he's a fucking god, dude. They're literally like, people are upset that Loki's bisexual, but literally nobody's mad. Actually, that's not true. Not a lot of people are upset. It's just that like, I saw one fucking tweet and like under that tweet, I only saw negative, like, what the fuck? This is woke shit. It's fucking bullshit.
Hey, yo, chat.
And I think it's just like people running through the motions. Anyway.
PogU and the Beatles contributed to the militarization of police forces but were themselves against segregation and acted on it.
What? Okay. Fucking cancel the Beatles, I guess. Anyway, what was I gonna say? There was more that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it's just like, I watched Loki last night. It was good. I woke up early as fuck this morning, get a fucking routine checkup for my doctor, see everything that's going on. I'm about to hit 30. Told him like, I was basically like, yo, what's up? Like, what's up with this TRT shit? Like, is it coming? Should I get it? Should I get TRT yet? Like, when should I get started on this? You know what I mean? And TRT's testosterone replacement therapy, for those of you who don't know. So basically, I was just like, what's the deal? But the problem is, if I get testosterone replacement therapy, the problem is like, I will lose my hair. Like, so I can't do it. So I'm in a weird bind here. Where, like, I just can't do it yet. You know what I mean? One day I'm gonna give up on hair and then I'll just go fucking buck wild. Wait, why are you trying the therapy then? I'm not. I'm just talking to my doctor. No, I just like fuck around. They typically will run your blood and make a decision from there. Unless you're all super low, you have no non-conservative doctor, they likely won't recommend it for you. I mean, I do live in LA, so who knows? I feel like half the fucking town is on TRT. Anyway. So after that, I did the podcast with Margot. And wait, did I just say Margot? What the fuck? I just read something from the fucking chat. I did the podcast with, dude, my brain is so broken. It was Ninjite, dude. Where the fuck is he? I'm gonna fucking ban him. I'm gonna ban Ninjite. This motherfucker, like, oh, never mind. He wasn't in here. It was someone else. Damn, I almost fucking banned him for no reason. I did the podcast with Kyle Kalinske, and and Crystal Ball. They have a new podcast. We just recorded it. And that was a lot of fun. There's a little bit of a debate in the end. Not with Kyle, but with Crystal on my criticisms of Saagar. Because I think he's like hella reactionary towards China. And I told him that. But yeah, that's all it is. I'm here now, and we're gonna talk about the news. So I'm just gonna fucking blast out that we're live. I still haven't figured out what to play next as far as video games goes. So I gotta figure that out. This weekend and the upcoming week, there's gonna be a lot of fun shit going on though. Now, what I mean by that is, how is Kyle's personality off stream? He's exactly the same as he is on stream. He's awesome. I love Kyle. Anyway, as far as I don't know about what game I'm gonna play right now, but having said that, I do have a lot of fucking content lined up for the upcoming week. We have on Sunday, we have like the G4 announcement thing, like the party, whatever. And then next week, we're going to do a roast of me, which we might do in person, actually. There's a lot of people coming in to town. So I'm going to try to see if I can figure out like IRL streaming. And if I could do that, then we could have a lot of fucking fun. We could do some like really fun IRL streams here in Los Angeles. So change up the pace a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So that is actually exciting. Kyle is barstool left, that's why we love him. I mean, I'm fucking more barstool left than Kyle is, I think. I think I'm more of a bro. I'm a bigger bro than Kyle is, but I'm also like probably more woke, I guess. Not like, I mean like capital W woke, you know what I mean? The infrastructure bill does not have new taxes. No, that's why the bipartisan infrastructure bill is bullshit for the most part. Like, anyway, here, let's tweet it out. Let's tweet out that I'm fucking live. Oh, that coward Rice Gum. I'll just say this much. Call him out right now. I fucking DM'd him, dude. And I said, when? Yeah, I literally just said when. You know? That's it. That's all you need to say. For cowards like Rice Gum. When? You know what I mean? What is this? Meow Meow fan club?
So I think the left has a problem. And it's this man right here.
What? Why are you sending me like girls with like 36 views, dude? Why? Like what do you want? Like what? You send me stuff like this. The left has a problem. And then like the fucking annoying asshole's gonna go in there and be dickheads. Like, don't do it. I'll ban you if you go there and be dickheads. I can't watch these videos anymore because like people go ape shit. Do not do it.
And it's this man right here. His name is Hasan Piker. He regularly has 50,000 people watching him on Twitch. I started watching with my boyfriend earlier in the pandemic, and I thought it was cool that he was finding a good place to get news and learn leftist values, until I realized every time this man was opening his mouth about women or women's issues, he was so derogatory and sexist and disgusting, frankly. He loves Western beauty standards. He loves pornography. He's always talking about how like horny he is on the internet for everyone to hear. 50,000 people watch him. This guy is a creep and he's a borderline incel. We can't allow men like this to have positions of influence in leftism if we want men to not be animals.
Okay. Very valid criticism. Okay, guys, do not say anything. Do not go there. Do not fucking comment on her post. Don't do it. Good. Yeah, we got it. I am an incel because I'm sex positive and also pro sex work. I know. Real leftist. Real leftism is when you are anti-sex work, and the more anti-sex work you are, the more of a leftist you are. That's how it works. Incels, of course, are also very pro-sex work. So I think she's being legit funny now. I don't know. Maybe she might have been just like memeing. Yes. Guys, we've talked about this before. Leftism is when you don't come. And the less you come, the more leftist you are. Leftism is when you don't laugh. And the less you laugh, the more leftist you are. I'm sorry, boys. This is how it works, okay? This is how it works. Also, I will fuck your boyfriend, okay? Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Take this as a threat. Keep speaking out like this. I will fuck your boyfriend, dude. Okay? You better watch yourself, okay? That's all I got. Just to make a statement, dude. I will steal your fucking boyfriend, okay? I'll do it. Anyway. Could we hear some thoughts on McAfee being approved for extradition and then being found dead in his prison cell? Would love to hear. He was approved last night. Yeah, I know. She's lying. No HasanAbi viewer has a girlfriend. Well, she has a boyfriend. Okay. So, let's get started. I'm going to tweet out that I'm live. Okay. Daycare is open. I'm live and alive. We're talking infrastructure bill breaking news. CRT defending general, woke general, and angry conservatives. Hashtag free Britney now. And John McAfee conspiracies. Get in now. This is dense. www.twitch.tv/HasanAbi. Okay, there it is. Nothing to be sex positive. It's kind of true that you have to work a bit hard to take a feminist approach, though. I'm not going to lie. Just general rhetoric around women. You can be a little derogatory. You can come off as degrading from sexual violence. Peer support volunteer here. Sexual violence. In what way?
And education. And
anyway, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Okay, sorry.
The president making it clear the two have to happen in tandem for him to sign either.
Chat, I will literally never look at like random fucking TikToks with like silly views and stuff. If you literally go there and fucking start mods, you can ban people that you find in the comments. Okay? And we'll get a BF so you can fuck him, says Bean Girl 3000. Okay, thanks. It's like,
one of them.
Don't be fucking annoying.
The president is talking about today is how is it going to get paid for? Some compromises here that the White House has looked at, that Republicans have looked at, related to, for example, no gas tax. You've got money coming out of COVID relief. But the president is basing this, he says, on trust, that he trusts the negotiators who are in the room, including some Republicans, despite the fact that some in his own party on his left flank have some real concerns about how this moves forward.
Well, look, this is why Joe Biden went out to the step. I mean, you know, the bigger piece of news he made is he made the decision to announce the deal with the senators. It was a bit of political theater, but he went out, as you know, we call him the stakeout mic. You never see president go out there. That's where the people that meet with the president go out and tell you about their meeting with the president. He put himself front and center.
Wow, dude, he's a communist.
You vote against this bill, you're voting against me. I'm the leader of your party. I'm your president. So he put his stamp on there, but he also made it clear in front of those Republican senators that were standing behind him that he also expects this reconciliation bill to happen. You know, I look, at the end of the day, Sinema and Manchin have a ton of leverage here, and the White House knows it. The White House wanted this deal. It was pretty clear to me they were going to do what it took to get to yes. I think the pay-fors, to be frank, are accounting gobbledygook. And I think it's going to, because, you know, there's this, we know that there's this hesitance to support any specific tax. So it's going to be hidden, and we'll have some IRS enforcement, and we'll carry the 2 and put the 3 and then call this investment, and we might get it back over here. There'll be public-private partnership. Look, they'll make themselves feel comfortable about this. The real pay for is going to come in the reconciliation when they probably raise the corporate tax rate from 21 to 25%. That's not to say that's going to directly pay for everything in here, but that will be the more specific pay for overall that'll happen. Look, the question I have on reconciliation is this. You know, Manchin and Sinema will agree to go to a reconciliation bill. That doesn't mean they've agreed to everything that's going to be in the bill. So one question I have is, Speaker Pelosi says she wants to see the reconciliation bill sent over. Fine. But it will be a framework. It will not be a guarantee that everything in there is going to pass because, by the way, memo to congressional leaders, and they know this, Manchin and Sinema aren't the only Democrats balking at this price tag. A lot of other Democrats that were standing behind the president there also don't like that price tag. So, look, reconciliation is going to happen, but it is not going to be $5 trillion. It's not going to be $4 trillion. I'd be surprised if it gets somewhere closer into that $3 trillion range or even lower.
And that reconciliation.
This doesn't fucking. This is so stupid. If there's a bipartisan bill that like everyone's voting on, then Sinema and Manchin could just like easily fucking not vote for the reconciliation. Just be like, sorry, it's not going to happen.
On a very concrete level, because that's something you heard President Biden focus on, right? The impact that this is going to have on people's lives where they live, because these kinds of things, roads, bridges, broadband, even in the bigger package, things like elder care, et cetera, do affect people's lives. Talk us through some of those real world impacts.
Well, look, I mean, you want to just talk about what we just saw happen in Washington, D.C. yesterday, a pedestrian bridge collapses, okay? We've got basic infrastructure fixes that need to be made. Why is Rob Portman in that deal? One of the bridge that connects northern Kentucky and Ohio and Cincinnati, they're desperate for a new bridge there. Drive around. I've taken my daughter to go look at Tulane. You drive around.
Oh, for the record, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to mention this, but yeah, he did say, if this bipartisan deal is the only thing that comes to me, I'm not signing it. Like he said, he wants the reconciliation. I don't know how. I don't know if he'll cave on that or not. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, I saw the building that collapsed this morning in Miami.
That has their own issues with rivers, or what's happening in Louisiana, or what we know with Florida and climate resiliency that they have to do. So there's been a lot of chatter about this stuff. And now there's finally a package that's going to address it. And if you think about it, I mean, we just haven't updated these buildings and these bridges and these roads, in some cases, since the 50s and 60s. And they've been overdue. You have bridges that should have been taken down decades ago because they've already had enough traffic on them before they're deemed unsafe.
Chuck Todd with us here from our Washington Bureau. Chuck, thank you. Significant news coming out of the White House today on a couple of different fronts. I want to thank Peter Alexander and Sam Brock as well as we wrap up.
Dude, our infrastructure is so dog shit, dude. Please, like, fucking please, dude. Like, give us bandwidth, give us better ISP service, give us, like, expand broadband, give us fucking high-speed rails. Jesus fucking Lord mercy. How do you... how do you do this? Like, how? I just don't understand how, like, Republicans can sit around and just be like, nah, we're not going to do it. Give me some fucking trains, dude. President Biden, if this is the only thing that comes to my desk, then I won't be signing it. Both bipartisan deal and reconciliation need to be passed for this to work. I mean, this is nothing then, I guess. It could be I haven't really thought about it too much yet. I mean, it just happened, so don't get mad at me. But it does seem like a decent tactical decision. Like, immediately on its face, it seems like it could be a decent tactical decision to just be like, yeah, I'll give you the bipartisan compromise, Jack, but then also you're going to have to do the fucking... Like, this is more so to push Manchin and Sinema and other like, supposed moderate fucking Democrats to be like, I'm giving you the bipartisan deal that you want, but then also you're going to have to actually do my infrastructure bill, like the rest of the infrastructure bill, in the form of the reconciliation. I have to climb telephone poles that are like 45-degree angle. Old internet infrastructure needs to be updated too. Yeah, absolutely. The House is not allowing the bipartisan bill to have vote on the bill if the reconciliation doesn't also pass at the same time. Yeah. He's showing the country he's bipartisan so he can get reelected. No, I like bipartisanship for as a matter of like improving your reelection chances is the dumbest fucking concept, dude. That's like literally no one cares about that. Like absolutely zero people are like, oh man, I really want bipartisanship. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. No, people care about getting better infrastructure. What is this? r/PCM doesn't like HasanAbi, apparently. No, seriously, how is he popular in leftist circles? I'm going to watch some leftist content to try to understand them. This guy is neither a good leftist nor a good human being. How are leftists listening to him? A useless nobody, then? He makes more money a day than most of us make in a year. He's unbelievably popular to the point of being the face of leftism on online debate sphere. Shame doesn't run his channel as a co-op. Oh, so he's a leftist Ben Shapiro, except dumb as rocks. Honestly, I like to think that I've heard of the face of leftism, but okay. Like, these guys are off left. Jokes on you. I've never seen this man in my life. He's the Ben Shapiro of the left. Wait, really? That's pretty cool. I mean, I love that people think I'm like as successful as Ben Shapiro is on the right. You know what I mean? DSM are Nazis, dog. Don't worry about them. Libertarian right. A retard leftist is pretty much the leftist stereotype that Republicans place on Democrats. Huh. It's not a compliment, dude. Political compass memes is straight cancer. It literally exists to make Nazis friendly. Yeah, I see that. Bans everyone speaking against them in chat. Whole chat instantly sides with them in any situation. Wins every debate against YouTube videos. While in contract with a company known for bullying its content creators. What is that? Which also shut down any and all ideas of the streamers unionizing and is a subsidiary of Amazon. He plays hourly ads to squeeze out even more cash. Preaches incoherent woke verses all day. Bans anyone who questions him, rejects debates, judges people by their drip. Hit the gym, bro. Fucking got me, dude. They nailed me. Yeah. Sounds like a fucking dripless nerd to me. Sorry, brother. You didn't have to use so many words to fucking say that you, one, never go to the gym, and two, have awful drip. Maybe you should hit the fucking gym and get better drip, you fucking nerd. Donations ads are kind of how Twitch operates. So yeah, last four are still valid though. Don't know about the wokeness one. Bans anyone who questions him, rejects debates, judges people by their drip, hit the gym, bro. The last four are valid. Proving his point of not being able to take criticism. What? I mean, I'm making light of it instead of like losing my mind over it. I think that's a pretty I think there is not a better way to take criticism than, you know, than what I just did, which is laugh at it because it's not like a legitimate criticism. So I don't know what to say. I love this shit though. This is great. Lip Center, America deserve 9/11. Bitch, you deserve a haircut. Did he actually say that? Yep. No country deserves a terrorist attack, but that hair is actually pretty fine though. That hair is a terrorist attack. When I see subreddits like this, or when I see this much, this many sentiments about my stream from people who like very clearly watch it, but are like very upset, then I actually realize like maybe some people, maybe there are a lot more hate watchers in here than I realize. You know what I mean? You do get triggered easily. I mean, I don't get triggered over people saying stuff like, I don't get triggered over people saying that like, I don't know, that I'm fucking, like any of this stuff I hear every single day, like on a daily basis, routinely. None of that stuff bothers me at all. I think it's really stupid. It's not like real criticisms. What bothers me is when people are like racist. You know what I mean? Yeah, that those trigger me. Or like things that upset me are usually things like leftists being annoying and people in my community being like over the top, overcorrective, like engaging in like really horrible practices that I want to see purged from the left. You know what I mean? Twitch forces has to be running every hour now. He just does it manually, make the stream better, like how TV does when you're not missing content when watching the ads. Damn, even the libertarian right guy is like on my side on this. It's funny though, like, here's what this shows me though. A lot of these like 4chan holdouts, off left, he looks like a F word. A lot of these like 4chan holdouts that are still like trying to keep the 2015, 2016 era like politics alive are very old now and they haven't updated their memes. And the only way I know that is because they still say like chunk yogurt and that like he denies the Armenian genocide, stuff like that. Like these are very like, this is like you're 35 years old, okay? Like no fucking Zoomer knows this shit anymore, okay? We've like moved way beyond the chunk yogurt TYT shit. So if your only frame of reference to who I am goes all the way back to like 2015 era memes, that means you're like 35, 36 years old and it's past you. You're past your prime on the internet and you can't even fucking meme. And you're just still in like a sad, pathetic circle on the internet where you're trying to like relive those glory days when like you really thought, you know, there could be like, you know, a robust white nationalist movement, you know? It's pretty funny. Like, I find it great. Personally, I think it's like awesome that like these people still are around. Destiny's a pretty fun lib left guy who frequently gets in the fights with the lefties just as much as he frequently gets in the fights with the righties. Auth right. He's an absolute cunt, just like his Uncle Chunk Yogurt is perfectly fine with Islamic terrorism. He said America deserves 9/11. Yeah. Anyway. He's Cenk Uyghur's nephew. Says it all, really. Like, really? That's how people point to me now as like Cenk Uyghur's nephew, even at this point. Like, if you're still doing that, that means like your frame of reference is like way back in like 2016. Like that's where you're stuck. One day you guys will relive the glory days, boys, when you guys were killing it, you know? I'm fairly certain he does this only for the puss. This guy is a sham. Yeah. I I became a political commentator on Twitch so that I could get laid, which of course backfired dramatically on me. Because now instead of getting laid, I just sit around and tell you that at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And tell you ways to avoid the 60-second ad breaks, you know, by subscribing, either for $5 or for free. I never get laid. But at least you can avoid the ads, you know? You can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime and avoid the ad breaks at the top of the hour. Here's a 1-minute ad break now. I agree with the Redditors now. Yeah, exactly. Hasan is good at converting you away from right-wing YouTubers by showing you how ignorant and stupid people like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson really are. But as a commentator, he leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. He's an entry-level commentator. I think this was a fair assessment, to be honest. He's an entry-level political commentator. That's deliberate. I like to have fun. And I think that a lot of people who fancy themselves to be like intellectual giants on the internet are not fun at all. So if you don't like to have fun, then this is not the place for you. Being far left is when you don't like HasanAbi anymore. Yeah, and being super far left is when you realize like, oh shit, never mind. Actually, HasanAbi's pretty good. I've talked about this before. Everyone in this community goes through a phase where they're like, I used to be a reactionary shithead. Then I started watching some of the HasanAbi content and I actually started enjoying it and started seeing the world in a different way. Then I started exploring materials a little bit closer and dove into my segmented version of leftism. Then I went through a phase where I hated HasanAbi because he wasn't giving me enough. He was not giving me enough of what I wanted. I wanted him to constantly talk about the glories of the Soviet, the USSR, and how incredible it was that they were able to go from potato farmers to fucking, you know, beating America in the space race in such a short period of time. Like, why isn't he talking about this all the time? This is crazy. This is the first time I've actually recognized this reality in my life. So other people maybe never saw this or never heard of this. So like, why isn't he talking about that? And then you either just like become this like fringe weirdo, lost in the sauce, or you realize like, oh man, never mind. Actually, maybe I should just dial it back a little bit, especially considering that there isn't really a lot of like left, broad scope leftist content creators out there that cover the news in an entertaining way. So yeah. White mom on TikTok calls her baby crying white girl tears. Yeah, we'll look at that in a second. So, you just get caught up and triggered by the aesthetics. You are real superficial in certain areas. Otherwise, I love the content. Like what? The aesthetics that I get caught up in are aesthetics focused rad lib takes that are that cause like weird circling the wagon purity spirals that like are unproductive and stupid. So my only focus on aesthetics are usually to shit on aesthetics. Okay. Unless we're talking about crystal mommies, in which case, or, you know, Dua Lipa and stuff, in which case I love that aesthetic. All right. Let's get back to the infrastructure bill, boys. Okay, so this is... Look, I love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You guys know this. But this is perhaps the worst possible way to criticize this bill. Is like... Or this bipartisan coalition. The diversity of this bipartisan coalition pretty much perfectly conveys which communities get centered and which get left behind when leaders prioritize bipartisan deal-making over inclusive lawmaking, which prioritizes the most impact possible for the most people. Like, I mean, there is some truth to what she's saying, but like, the real issues with this fucking bill is not that like all of the people that are involved in this committee are white. The real issue with this bill is that like, you know, it's true, they are white, and it's certainly true that they do not give a shit about black and brown people, very clearly, okay? But the real issue and the real criticism of this stems from, you know, how watered down it is and how we ascribe value to bipartisanship purely for the sake of bipartisanship. According to Jeff Stein, here are some parts of the Biden jobs plan that appear to be out of the bipartisan deal. $400 billion in elder care, $200 billion for housing, $100 billion less for electric vehicles, and most notably, the tax hikes for corporations. White House is saying that they're going to work on a second reconciliation deal as a partner to this bipartisan compromise package. It could be an effective political strategy to be like, hey, you want a bipartisanship? Kyrsten Sinema, Joe Manchin, you got it. Now you have to pass my fucking reconciliation bill that is going to feature tax hikes on corporations and tax hikes on the wealthy. So I do think that is like, it could be solid. I haven't really put a lot of thought into it beyond the immediacy. But my immediate inclination is that like this could be a solid strategy to motivate some of these centrist Democrats that are like moderate, even though it's like their own personal branding project for the most part. No, don't ever say it's watered down, but it's better than zero. It's only better. It's only not a bad idea exclusively because Joe Biden says he's going to pass it alongside a reconciliation bill that's going to feature all of the shit that they originally didn't want. This bill, separated from a reconciliation bill, is only there so that like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema can shut the fuck up and like pass the reconciliation as well. Except Joe Manchin will easily blow up, I think, probably blow up the reconciliation bill. What? Secretary Mayor P getting to be the front man for some bipartisan legislation while Harris gets assigned a bunch of unsolvable problems, some real glass cliff stuff? I mean, I guess. I don't know. It could be deliberate. I don't think it's like a sexist POV, but I do think it's like... No matter what, we're going to get the most watered down bill and shit version of the bill that only fixes like 5 bridges and nothing else. We're doomed to the country's falling apart. I have absolutely zero faith in Biden going to go forward with reconciliation. I agree. But they did that already. So they can do it again.
This was legitimate.
Oh, this is what President Joseph Robinette Biden said in response to questions about worker shortages.
I'm not being critical of y'all. I really mean this. It was legitimate questions you're asking me. Asking me, well, you know, guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more.
He did the fucking classic Biden lean-in technique too. I love that. The lean-in whisper. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I love that, dude. Just be as creepy as possible, dude. Creep people out while also putting a good left populist message out there, dude. I'm all... this literally hits my back walls, okay? I want Joe Biden to let his freak flag fly, which he's doing. I want Joe Biden to advocate for the working class, which he's doing here as well. Whether it's for aesthetics or not, it doesn't matter. This video captures everything I want from Joe Biden, okay? This is what I want from the Biden presidency. I want him to be fucking creepy, and I want him to side with the workers and say very obvious things that for some reason seem based and woke when a neoliberal Democrat says it, even though it's like literally the most obvious fucking answer. Yeah, it's great. This is everything that I want, dude. Fuck yeah. Okay. Here is the Manchin on the $6 trillion price tag for Sanders is pushing for reconciliation. Who he has a hard time swallowing. Joe Manchin should just swallow my dick, dude. That's what he should swallow.
One's being held hostage to the other doesn't seem to be fair to me, but they're going to make those decisions. But we have to see what's in the other plan before I can say, oh, yes, you vote for this and I'll vote for that. That's not what I have signed up for. I want to sign up for what's in the plan that makes sense.
You said the six.
Motherfucker, you didn't sign up for shit. You signed up to be a fucking asshole. That's what you signed up for. You signed up for your own personal branding project. This is what these assholes treat the entire government as. Like, this is an opportunity for Joe Manchin to fucking talk about Joe Manchin, have people talk about Joe Manchin, act like Joe Manchin is at the forefront of the conversation, and maintain political posturing for the sake of political posturing so that he could just turn around to the billionaires and be like, look, I'm doing bipartisanship in the form of, hurdles.
$6 trillion price tag is too high.
Extremely, extremely high, okay, for us to take on that much debt. I don't know if there's that much pay for us. So I got to look at the pay for us. If they're working outside that envelope, they'd have to prove to me the need is there. Don't worry about it. Throw caution to the wind and just add more debt on. I have a hard time swallowing that.
So that's an important line. He said, I have a hard time swallowing it because Bernie Sanders, who chairs the Senate Budget Committee, is drafting a plan that could make it as high as $6 trillion to move a whole swath of Democratic priorities. And that's important for liberals who are not getting what they want out of this smaller plan, which is about $1.2 trillion over 8 years. So they want to, so Democratic leaders are saying, if you didn't get what you want in the small plan, throw it into the larger package instead. But in order to get the larger package through, they need to get moderates like Joe Manchin on board. But what you heard just there, he is not ready to sign on to what the Democratic-only approach just shows you the hurdles ahead as Democrats try to race this through, try to get something through as soon as next month, at least to start the process. But they got to convince their party to get behind it.
Oh, yes. Swallow my cummies, Joe Manchin. What is this? I'm an Antifa super soldier? What the fuck?
So, this is the Antifa super soldier.
Oh.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
This is the...
Okay, no shot. That's so funny. Why did they did that, right? Like, obviously, the fucking gun range doesn't have me as a target on there. They probably printed it out themselves, right? Because it has IAI on it too. Yeah, good luck. Good luck hitting that target, dude. It's not gonna happen. I have a fucking tiny gun range instructor is a Twitch frog. Oh, really? The guy training them is a huge Twitch viewer. Wait, I want to fucking go there then. What the fuck? What the hell? You don't? No, I do. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit if he's like some reactionary dude who like made me into a thing in the gun range. I think that'd be fucking great content. Giuliani lost his... Okay, you guys want me to fucking talk about this so bad, dude. Here.
Today it's my fellow Americans,
I gotta go
not
pee.
just my fellow New Yorkers.
Here, watch this.
As you may have heard recently, a few minutes ago, my father's law license was suspended by the New York State First Appellate Division of the Supreme Court. Now, the 5 judges that ruled on it, Judge Rolando Acosta, Judge Diane Renwick, Judge Sally Manzart Daniels, Judge Judith Gishi, and Judge Barbara Kaepernick. All 5 of them are Democrats, 3 of which were appointed by Andrew Cuomo. 5-0, ultimately. Democrats with 0 Republicans on there. Again, this is just unbelievable to see just how politicized all of this has become. I am infuriated by all of this, and any American that believes in an independent justice system, this is going after one of President Trump's closest allies. That's exactly what this is. And any American that doesn't believe that, they are just biased. This is unacceptable, and I stand by my father. He did everything ultimately by the book, and the fact that there would be this politicization in our Justice Department is disgusting. It is a cancer that needs to be cut out, and it needs to be cut out right now. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. I'll have more statements later in the day.
Folks, this political attack against one of the nation's most important lawyers is absolutely unfathomable. We will not stand down, okay? We will not stand down. Absolutely unacceptable. I cannot believe that they are actually jealous of how fucking hot Rudy Giuliani is. So they decided to take away his fucking father's career. Rudy Giuliani's career and reputation. It's bullshit. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of hiding the truth from you. And I've tried, but I can't because he's so fucking hot. God damn, dude. He is so sexy. And everybody's just jealous of how fucking sexy he is, dude. Andy G went mask off. I mean, dude, his son is horrible. It's horrifying. He is horrifying to look at, dude. Yeah, what's in the bipartisan infrastructure deal? Here's an early look at the top 10 details. We already saw this. Are you ready for Mario Golf tomorrow? Why are there so many fucking Mario Golf fans out here? There's like fanatics. Yeah, you can't say that. Anyway. I heard it wasn't good. I mean, I don't really care. It's another baby game. I might play it. Who knows? Okay. So, it's not just that it's golf. It's a pretty sick party game. Okay, we'll take a look at it. I love children of rich dudes whose only purpose in life is to hype up their parent. They're so funny. I hope he gets the crumb of acknowledgement one day. Yeah. Well,
one of the things
here, let's watch what Biden had to say, and then I'm going to move on to CRT, the real issues facing American society, okay?
That
critical
we
race
agreed
theory
on infrastructure. We made serious compromises on both ends. There is, and they'll give you the numbers. But they did not, and I understand their position. Republicans and this group did not want to go along with any of my family plan issues, the child care tax credits, the human infrastructure that I talk about. And that we'll see what happens in a reconciliation bill in the budget process. If we get some compromise there, and if we can't, see if I can attract all the Democrats to a position that is there. But they're gonna move in a dual track, and that's all to say. But I want to thank each and every one of them. It's been, you know,
they're such ghouls, dude. I can't I actually cannot. He should have just fucking turned around and been like, hey, I'm giving you bipartisan you want, Jack. Now you got to fucking vote for my reconciliation bill, Jack. I'm looking right at you, Joe Manchin. I'm looking right at you, Kirsten Sinema.
A lot of us go back a long way where we're used to doing one thing. Give each other our word, and that's the end. Nobody questions it. They have my word. I'll stick with what they proposed, and they've given me their word as well. So where I come from, that's good enough for me.
So real issue that we're all too good for hard work / labor. We pick one or two sides and we can't reconcile as a nation. Every politician that constantly fights the other side, no matter what the facts are, should be removed from office. What? Did you give those vibrators to someone with clout, or are you going to do me a huge solid? I haven't given them out yet, but I will. And yeah, I'll give it to people with clout. Look at Kamala Pepela lying in wait. What do you mean? Where? Wait, is she in the background? Oh my God. That's fucking... Is that her? Wait, is this photoshopped? Shut up, dude. That's hilarious, bro. Computer, zoom in. No, that's not her. Wait, is that her? I can't even tell. I thought it was Nancy Pelosi. It could be her. It could be Nancy Pelosi. I don't know. It's Kamala. Pantsuit looks very... They didn't let her come. I'm gonna come. She said, do not come. And then Kamala said, I'm gonna come. Okay, we're done with this shit. Jesus Christ. All right, let's look at CRT, boys, before we get to like all the dumb shit about well, the interesting stuff around the conservatorship of Britney Spears. And first and foremost, I want to start off with the Matt Gaetz getting absolutely brutalized, cumstered and dumpstered by General Mark Milley. Now, I talked about this yesterday. Like, it's whatever, okay? Because I'll tell you exactly why I think, like, this isn't a moment of celebration in the same way that, like, liberals saw it as a moment to cheer on or celebrate. But also, I love how much Fox News is bent over this. Like, they're bent out of shape. So I really do love that. Like, that he triggered the fuck out of like Fox News commentators by just saying that, like, yeah, we're gonna learn, you know, we're gonna learn critical race theory in the military. So let's watch General Mark Milley, social justice general, you know, kind of eviscerate the reactionary idiocy revolving around like critical race theory, but do it in like the most conservative, like military general way possible. Okay. He does look like John Goodman.
First of all, on the issue of critical race theory, etc., I'll obviously have to get much smarter on whatever the theory is. But I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university. And it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that, because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it.
So up to this point, this is a perfect argument. Like, we are America's military. We, of course, are going to educate America's leaders in the military on issues that pertain to America. We're going to develop a better understanding for how racial injustices have developed in our history, and whether those issues still are significant or not. And he believes that they're significant, and I agree with that point as well. And then this part is really funny. He just like literally turns around and talks about theory. I love this. Okay,
I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country?
Motherfucker read Lenin and was like, he's right. Imperialism is a necessity for the global capitalist economic organization to continue. And I like it. He's like, yeah, fuck the state and revolution. Fuck the revolution. What we need to do is, you know, I'm taking pointers on the necessity for imperialism. And I, quite frankly, agree with Lenin. That's what he was saying.
Country for which we are here to defend. And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else.
So this is where you're like, wait, what? He's like, I am offended that you think our generals and our leaders are woke. How fucking dare you? He's like, we read Marx. We're not fucking communist terrorists.
Because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to
and then he salvages it again. He turns around and he's like here is the white supremacist history of the United States of America, which we have to fucking acknowledge and examine.
Power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look it, I do want to know. And I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets. But I want to know. And it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military.
Like, it goes in and out of, like, know your enemy. You know what I mean? Like we need to study critical race theory so we can, you know, just like with reading Lenin, we can take the wrong lessons and continue doing all of the white supremacy shit. Like, you can take it that way. He doesn't mean that, though. Like, you can tell what he's trying to say there is, like, we cover a broad variety of theories and that's understandable. And that doesn't mean that, like, people are going... I like that the ultimate argument still is, like, that doesn't mean people are going to agree with critical race theory. Like, but at the end, at the very least, he, like, turns around and he says, like, this is parts of our history and we need to examine them. And that's precisely what critical race theory says. So...
In my previous discussions with service members and particularly officers, I would hear about complaints over parts not arriving on time, long deployments, and in my more recent discussions with those officers, the number one issue that they raised to me with concern, often unable to speak publicly,
is critical race theory.
for fear of the type of retribution that Lieutenant Colonel Lohmeyer faced. They say that your stand down regarding extremism did not help our military, it hurt the military. And I want to share with you that perspective.
Yeah, the military has a problem with extremism on the socialist side. Like, you know, when Spencer Rapone was immediately discharged when he said communism will win. And when he wrote communism will win in his, like, fucking West Point graduation cap. But extremism such as Atomwaffen should not be dealt with. Like, Atomwaffen is a legitimate far-right neo-Nazi sect that purposefully tries to recruit from within the ranks of the military. We know that this exists. We know that it's a huge problem. And we still have, like, parts of the Marine Corps that have the double fucking, like, we have parts of the Marine Corps that, like, very openly have the Nazi what is it, Nazi symbolism that they use and shit like that. So, like, extremism in the military exists. It's not about, like, communist military members. It's absolutely extremism in the form of, like, Nazi military members. Yeah, insignia was what I was thinking of. Thank you. Like, Nazi regalia, Nazi insignia. Like, these are huge issues within the American military. And the only reason why, like, Atomwaffen became a problem or gained notoriety was because some of those members actually either A, successfully carried out executions, or B, were intercepted when they were trying to literally do acts of terrorism for Nazis. So these are domestic terrorists that are being born and bred in the American military. If you're going to deal with that, that's one thing. But I don't think Matt Gaetz is talking about
that it caused service members to otherize one another. It impaired group cohesion. How should the Department of Defense think about critical race theory?
Could I make a comment, Secretary? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm very limited on my time, General Milley.
Well, I just want to make a comment that the feedback
I know, but
I've
asked the question to Secretary Austin.
I don't know what the issue of critical race theory is and what the relevance here with the department. We do not teach critical race theory. We don't embrace critical race theory, and I think that's a spurious conversation.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you tell them, dude.
And so we are focused on extremist behaviors, and not ideology.
I love that the entire GOP strategy revolves around, like, talking about government waste and misuse of government resources But then, like, literally everything they do is just a gigantic waste of time and everyone's resources. Like, every time a Republican speaks at a committee hearing, I'm like, why are you asking this question? Like, you should not be here, okay? You lack the mental fortitude, the mental capacity to be in a room and ask these sorts of fucking questions. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if your constituents are too stupid and you have to represent them in the most idiotic way possible. But, like, this is such a gigantic waste of fucking time, dude. I've never seen a single fucking conservative operate in one of these, like, hearings. When one of these, there are some, you know, notable exceptions, I guess. But, like, for the most part, the overwhelming majority of conservative rhetoric in all of these hearings is just be a gigantic fucking moron, okay? That's it. Critical race theory is a big problem in the military. It's like, you're so stupid, dude. Just shut the fuck up. More people need to just say, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Not people's thoughts, not people's political orientation. Behaviors is what we're focused on. And one final point, and thanks for your anecdotal input, but I would say that I have gotten 10 times that amount of input, 50 times that amount of input on the other side that have said, hey, we're glad to have had the ability to have a conversation with ourselves and with our leadership. And that's what we need to make sure
again,
that we
reclaiming
remain
my
a
time,
cohesive
Mr. Secretary,
organization.
it may be that you're receiving that input in the ratios you describe because it was your directive.
I want to be very clear.
Like, what is this input? Like, why aren't they just addressing the actual fucking thing, which is like, why is it a problem to learn about systemic racism in the military? We need black and brown people to go out and do murders overseas. Okay? So, like, you know, examining the racist past of America is not that bad, okay? We got black people in the military, Matt Gaetz. Just, you know, come on. Shut up.
Clear. The military needs to be open to all Americans. Absolutely. That is the strength of the United States military. But once we're in, we bleed green and our skin color is camouflage. We're worried.
Oh, God. Our skin color is camouflage,
about that American
brother.
Flag on our shoulder. That's the only thing our enemies are worried about. I think we can agree there. But the other thing that they raised to me was a seminar that over 100 cadets attended titled Understanding Whiteness and White Rage, taught by a woman who described the Republican Party platform as a platform of white supremacy.
Damn, dude. That's pretty funny. I mean, it's true. 0 lies detected on that. That's cool that that happened.
This is going on at West Point as we speak to our future military leaders. And sir, I would encourage you, I would demand that you get to the bottom of what is going on in the force and further for what it means for civilian oversight of the military when our future military leaders.
Funny, like, it's like maybe they were understanding white rage so they can channel it, harness it. You know what I mean? They're like, listen up, boys. Today we're going to harness white rage. And, you know, instead of redirecting it back to, you know, our government infrastructure, we are going to do what we have done for hundreds of years and redirect that white rage back to our enemies overseas. Okay?
Are being taught that the Constitution and the fundamental civilian institutions of this country are endemically racist, misogynist, and colonialist, and therefore it is their duty to resist them. What does that mean for a future cadet who one day will be sitting where you are?
That's hilarious, dude. Wait, the West Point is teaching about America's colonial history? This unironically is like, this has to be, I would love to see this curriculum, dude. This has to be like, you know, West Point is teaching America's colonialist history just so we can do better colonialism as we are doing currently. Right? Like, it has to be, right? There's no shot that they're just like, America's colonial past is really damaging. Which is why, like, what? Are they telling everyone at West Point to be like, which is why you need to put down your arms and actively work to dismantle our current military-industrial complex? Like, is that the lesson that you're learning? Which is weird. I don't understand that.
This is not something that the United States military is embracing and pushing and causing people to subscribe to. Now, whether or not this was some sort of critical examination of different theories, I don't know. But
we need to understand our past. I want to be very clear. But can you agree at least that understanding whiteness and white rage presented in Ike Hall over 100 cadets probably is something that we shouldn't be teaching?
Why not? Why not?
Our future leaders of the United States.
Would you ever say black rage? I mean, that class is titled like white range and understanding whiteness and white rage. Like, I don't want to be sweet Emerson. Annette, want to be sweet Emerson. Thank you. Presenting, like, the way that you title this class is silly. Like, when you title a class like this, you're gonna trigger the fuck out of these people. Okay. Like, I've talked about how this is not like a productive way, I think, of educating people. Nobody wants to hear how privileged they are. You have to like show people this. You have to sit them down and educate them in different ways without immediately being combative or dismissive. And I'm sure the class in and of itself probably is way more comprehensive and way more complex than the way that the title of the class suggests. But you know, they are obviously going to get super mad for that reason. Aren't these the same guys who label socialists alongside neo-Nazis in a training doctrine? Well, I don't know if this is a military training doctrine, but it is the new, it is what's going on in our intelligence communities, yes. Like, title that fucking, instead of titling that, like, understanding whiteness and white rage, here's what it is. I don't give a shit about this class being taught. And I'm pretty sure that this class, without even looking at what is actually being taught there, I can tell you with at least some level of confidence that this class is most likely going to center around like white supremacy and white supremacist history, stuff like that, right? Some of these classes also are like weird in the way that they center around whiteness as this like otherizing force. It's stupid. It's like not productive and educational. But the easiest way to like avoid shit like this is by not using terminology that will trigger the fuck out of fragile ass whites who are looking to be triggered by this. The real reason why they're upset about it is because like they don't want to fucking examine white supremacy, right? They don't want to examine white supremacy. They think that that's terrible because you know, no one wants to take a look at no one wants to critically examine white supremacy and white supremacist undertones because or how white supremacist attitudes have permeated through all of our institutions and how fundamental it's been in American societal development, because then you give the game away about what Republicans do, right? And you could even make an argument over like the sentiment that like if you talk about America's colonial history, then you're going to literally make it harder for West Point cadets to like do their job effectively, right? As a Republican, I see that point of view. That's brutally honest. No one is going to say that, obviously, because it again gives the game away. Which is the entire purpose of having this meeting to begin with, which is like how to stop effective education and an accurate examination of American history without saying we should not talk about like history from the lens and the framework of like black existence. So that's the reality here, right? But in order to avoid these in order to not give further ammo to these fucking dipshits, just don't title it something so triggering for the fragile whites. You understand? That's the point. Anyway.
That understanding whiteness and white rage presented in Ike Hall over 100 cadets probably is something that we shouldn't be teaching our future leaders of the United States Army?
As you have described it, it certainly sounds like that's something that should not occur. Again, I would like to know the specifics of the.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
See, that's a point. Like, you're giving a brownie point to these like reactionary dipshits for no reason. Do you understand? Because like that is hard to defend. Like, I'll still defend it. I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, yeah, understand white and whiteness and white rage. Like, it just sounds like Radlib. It sounds like a fucking fourth year Radlib course in some liberal arts college. Like, so when you define it on terms like that, then people are gonna get fucking triggered.
Media machine infecting the minds.
Wait, this sucks. I want to see Laura Ingraham get upset. It's pretty funny. And we've talked about this already, but like the critical race theory guy who like turned this into a genuine problem is this dude named Christopher Rufo. He's gotten dunked on in the past by Mark Lamont Hill. We've watched that video before. And he like very deliberately he gave the game away a while back where he was like, we are going to make everything turn into critical race theory, and we're going to make it like a toxic idea. He works for the Manhattan Institute. Like, this is what he does at the Manhattan Institute. And apparently he's also a fucking creationist. So that's pretty cool. You know, the main guy behind the critical race theory, Hysteria, is a far-right Christian fundamentalist creationist freak who larps the facts over feelings rationality, bro. And he's funded by billionaires and corporations through the Manhattan Institute, founded by Reagan's CIA director. So all of these like anti-SJW weirdos, even on the left, like even like Glenn Greenwald, for example, in an effort to be as like subversive as possible, end up betraying core values that I still believe they believe, by getting caught up in like Manhattan Institute created think tank right-wing agitprop. Like, how are you going to be Glenn Greenwald and then like literally repeat talking points directly created by the Manhattan Institute? Like, that's so silly. That's silly, man. That's fucking crazy. Creationists are people who don't believe in evolution, and the world is like 6,000 years old. Famously, we watched Ted Haggard. I think that was the televangelist last night. And here it is. I mean, here is the actual admission. We have successfully frozen their brand, critical race theory, into the public conversation, and we are steadily driving up negative perceptions. We will eventually turn it toxic as we put all of the various cultural insanities under that brand category. The goal is to have the public read something crazy in the newspaper and immediately think critical race theory. We have decodified the term and will recodify it to annex an entire range of cultural constructions that are unpopular with Americans. So what he's basically stating is like, this is cultural Marxism. This is systemic racism. This is diversity initiatives. This is everything and anything that like reactionary Americans despise, that we are repackaging as like elitist, intelligentsia backed, like academic terminology that everybody fucking kind of hates. And that's it. That's literally it. Like, and they can admit this because no one gives a fuck. Okay? That's it. And they are so effective. They are so good at propagandizing this shit. They're so good. And Fox News obviously is a major contributor to that. They are so effective at this. And, that's why we have like parents losing their minds at like parent-teacher conferences over critical race theory being taught at our schools.
We are sending our tax dollars to this military to an attempt to weed out so-called extremists, which just means conservative evangelical, as far as I can tell. We're paying for that? Why is Congress not saying we're not going to give you a penny until all of this is eradicated?
Based. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, defund the military, dude. Hell yeah. I love when conservatives say that they want to defund the military because some cadets at West Point learned about whiteness and white rage. Like, not because it is a $700 billion machine that is ever expanding, that is like basically our only viable economy, which unfortunately roots itself in destabilization, death, and destruction. That is just truly damaging. None of that is a good enough reason to defund the military or like reappropriate some of these funds to like healing this country. But you know, they learned about white supremacy. Some cadets learned about white supremacy. Time to defund the military.
Eradicated from the military budget. Nothing. This is my offer to you. Nothing. That's what I would say. I am totally outraged by him and his ridiculous response today. Sorry, Congressman. We are sending to go after their budget. The only thing they understand is their budget, their money. That's it. That's all they understand. Congressman, the general.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, totally on board. Totally on board. Speaking of, here's Fox's news contributor. This from Marshall reads like it was written by someone not fluent in information wars. It reminds me of how some say they read an outlet like Breitbart for the conservative view and an outlet like New York Times for the liberal view, as if they're opposite sides of the same coin. Mumford & Sons banjoist Winston Marshall quits after Andy NGO. I don't want to read this. I don't want to give like more credibility to Andy. Andy, no, like I don't care. So yeah, that's great. We talked about critical race theory. Who gives a fuck? What is this? This is a white mom talking about white girl tears or some shit. Let's take a look.
So this morning, the baby woke up and had some sort of violence in her heart. I don't know what it was, but she has been losing her mind all day. And it's interesting because I'm watching her lose her mind, and then I'm watching the preteen respond to that by trying to make her happy. And I have had to like actively tell him, stop trying to make her feel better, stop responding to her tears. It's so interesting to see the conditioning of people responding to white girl tears happening so early. She's 5, and she's got an 11-year-old coming after her trying to make her feel better when she cries. We have to unlearn this whole business that white women crying is going to get them what they want in life, because that ain't it.
What the fuck? Dude, they're babies, dude. What the fuck? That's crazy. What is this? When is this like when keeping it real goes wrong? Like, I mean, just say you're on board with the Gerber method. Like, what the fuck? The baby's 5 years old. The baby is racist. I mean, when you're 5 years old, I think you're not like you're not a white woman. You're a white baby. Do not comfort white women tears. That's wild. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why people wanted me to watch that. That was such a weird fucking. That was such a weird fucking statement. Anyway, wait, OAN is pro killing people who stole the election? What the fuck? I can't watch this video. What is this? Am I blocked? Incognito.
Which raises even more questions.
Why did this person block me?
About exactly how many people were involved in these efforts to undermine the election. Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? How many people does it take to carry out a coup against the presidency? And when all the dust settles from the audit in Arizona and the potential audits in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Wisconsin, what happens to all these people who were responsible for overthrowing the election? What are the consequences for traitors who meddled with our sacred democratic process and tried to steal power by taking away the voices of the American people? What happens to them? Well, in the past, America had a very good solution for dealing with such traitors: execution.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. This guy's fucking crazy. These people are so wild. It's funny because they're such pussies, right? Like their cowardice literally is a part of their political identity. Like conservatism is the fear of change for the better, by the way. It revolves around the fear of like the unknown, the fear of minorities, the fear of marginalized communities. So it's always hilarious when I hear like someone who is so legitimately terrified of like the existence of black people, to turn around and be like, we need to execute everybody else. It's like, dude, you are such a sniveling, pathetic, reactionary coward. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Luckily, it's just OAN. Who gives a fuck? I don't agree with the dude, but I really like to see what he said after all that. Okay, now that we moved on from OAN, this is the more reasonable OAN, Newsmax. Let's take a look at what they're saying over here.
What do you make? I mean, this is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff making a comment like this. What do you make of that?
Incredible.
We're back on critical race theory again.
This poison, critical race theory, this cancer, is affecting all of our institutions, the schools, the universities, the military, all over. And it's based on the fundamental proposition that all white people are racist, whether they are inherently that or not, their background.
And Dick's like, I'm racist. Not because of my whiteness. I'm just racist on its own, okay? I don't like that you assume that all white people are racist. I just like to be racist. I think you're taking that away from me. You're taking away my agency to be racist.
That makes them racist.
Right.
Original sin, really.
Yeah.
And that all white people got where they got by exploiting blacks. I have a unique thought about that, though.
Ooh, I love when conservatives say, I have a unique thought. And they truly are unique. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think conservatives, when they engage in unique thoughts, it's some shit you've never heard of, okay? It is sometimes, if they're not recycling like incredibly old, like constantly reappropriated and recycled talking points about how like, you know, Western civilization needs to be defended at all costs. You know, we must secure an existence for white children, that sort of stuff. You know, just like repackaged, repurposed Nazi propaganda. Sometimes they do arrive at like a truly unique thought. So I'm excited. Let's hear what this has to be. And it's so weird usually.
What does this do to the children? What does this do to a kid? A quarter of all black marriages are intermarriages racially.
Wow.
So what does that do?
Wow. Shocking. Wow. We need to do something about that. We need to stop that, sir. Thank you, Dick Morris, for letting me know.
To a black boy,
a black and white kid,
whose mother is a white and whose mother is black and his father is white. Right. What does he think? My father exploited my mother, and that's how he got successful. And if the couple breaks up, do they have to choose one?
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the TikTok trends where like a black influencer at TikTok will be like, interracial couples, like, how are you going to go and date a white man or a white woman who like enslaved your ancestors? It's like, this is just on the other side of that. It's great. Like, I get the trauma that led you to arrive at such a fucking horrific conclusion, but like, I don't know. You probably have to recognize that like some of the people, some of your ancestors who are still alive, literally fought to be able to do that. So, miscegenation, that is. Okay, let's hear what else is going on here.
Over the other? Does it reinforce the Oedipal notion all kids have of wanting to kill their father and marry their mother? I mean, what does this do to...
That is a unique thought. That's fair. That's fair. That is a unique one. I have not heard this before. Critical race theory is bad because the black and white children, like they're fucking black and white cookies. Like, you know, when everybody knows like 14% of black households are black and white. So everyone knows like that means half of the kid is black and the other half is white, like a black and white cookie. And the real problem with critical race theory is that it will teach biracial kids to want to murder their fathers and fuck their moms. That is good. You got to hand it to them. I had not heard that before. I literally had not heard this before. Obviously, like, Oedipal rage is not a new concept, but it is new in the sense that it's applied to this theory. Like, I had not seen Oedipal rage in the context of, like, racial agitation. So it's pretty cool.
With the children. And to have a fourth grader sitting in class who might be white, being told that everything his family has and everything he enjoys and has accomplished is because they exploited other people. What if...
Like, that's not what critical race theory is, man. Oh, this is what I mean when I say, like, there's just, it's everything and anything, okay? It's everything and anything that, like, I don't like. And it might have nothing to do with what is actually being taught in schools, but it doesn't matter. It's what I'm going to say is being taught in schools. It's great, dude. What a fucking dumbass. It's awesome. The real problem with critical race theory is that you know, there's going to be more logic style rappers in the future. This is the real problem with critical race theory, apparently. Not to say that, like, logic is succumbing to Oedipal rage in any capacity. I just wanted to fit a logic joke in there. What the fuck is this? Come on, bro. Your wife is white? From Robert Griffin III? RG3? No, it's not porn. It's a person working out. It's like RG3 working out. Anyway. My virgin ears, bro. What the fuck? My parents are gonna think I'm watching HasanAbi and not gay porn? What is this? A lot of people on the left talk about... Oh, this guy is the worst, dude. This guy is the fucking worst, dude. Oh, my Lord. Just like fucking... This is another reactionary grifter. A lot of people on the left talk about being black, like being black is a disability, and it pisses me off. Then they start trying to talk down to me and lecture me with their structural, systemic, and institutional bullshit. I'm blessed, not handicapped. I don't want your education. So, I mean, you might have like you might have a problem up there. I'm trying to like be as the non-ableist as I call this person words. But it has nothing to do with blackness. It's just you're a stupid person, you know? Sorry of the case of the dum-dums. Yeah, it does feel bad when you find out that he's just a dumb person. Tell me you've heard his music, please. No. There was another thing that I was going to look at, and I can't remember. We talked about Florida going after left-wing people and like intellectual diversity in college campuses yesterday, and I don't want to talk about it again. Say the word, I'll say it with you. What? Like stupid, dumb, idiot? There's a full transcript of the Britney Spears court conservatorship hearing. We are going to get to that first, and then we're going to look at John McAfee. But the Florida building is collapsing. What do you want me to do, bro? Do you want me to stop? Do you want me to stop it from happening? Like, yeah. There's dog shit buildings in Florida. Okay? And one of them is collapsing. Like, I don't know what to do about it. Like, when you guys are like, why aren't you talking about fucking... Why aren't you talking about that? It's just like... I'm over here trying to fucking... Instead of Save Florida, I'm over here trying to fucking run the ad at the top of the hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going on here. Like, that's what you can expect from me. Is at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. You already know this, okay? And if you'd like to no longer see said ads, you can subscribe. You can do it for $5, or you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use a VPN or an ad block. Yo, catch these sneaky ass hands, dude. You know this. You know I just fucking destroyed your worldview. Not a big deal. Anyway, let's hit that fucking ad break here, and we'll talk about the evils of communism in Florida real quick. Again,
that is this is an important time.
Everybody wants me to talk about it.
For next year, at which time Governor Ron DeSantis has been out of his way to say CRT, critical race theory, will not be taught. But he didn't stop there. Listen.
We have a number of people in Florida, particularly southern Florida, who've escaped totalitarian regimes, who've escaped communist dictatorships to be able to come to America. We want all students to understand the difference. Why would somebody flee across shark-infested waters, say leaving from Cuba to come to southern Florida?
So he understands that maybe this story, teaching the evils of communism and Marxism, matters to people like you. Why?
Absolutely. And you know, bravo. Every single governor in this country should follow suit what DeSantis is doing. Because the problem that we have here is that half of our teenagers, according to the latest survey, believe that communism or socialism is good. And most of them don't know what's the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Communist Manifesto. You see, I am the daughter of political refugees. Everyone that I know that surrounds me in my district understands what DeSantis is saying. It's oppression, it's exile, is death. And our kids, right, that the American-born kids, don't know what that means. So it's time for us to teach them that Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, Chavez, those people are murderers.
But what also is...
Yeah, dude. What's happening in the American education is that there isn't enough there isn't enough coverage of communism being bad. That's the problem. You know, I'm glad that we finally arrived at the most important issue in our education structure is that, you know, in the way that our education system works is that like people don't think Che Guevara is bad enough.
It's important too in most people's background. You know, you do read Mein Kampf in school. It doesn't mean that you like Hitler or a Nazi. You read about these people because you want to be exposed to it. You don't want to be shut off from it. Where do you draw the line between reading about these evil people in history and at the same time learning what not?
What? He read Mein Kampf in high school? What? He did? That's kind of weird. Like, come on. I mean, it was... What is this? They're citing polls like this. More than a third of millennials approve of communism. Yeah, here's what it is, boys. Like, don't make capitalism so fucking openly destructive to the younger generation. Like, that's one way that you could have fucking stopped, you know, having people recognize that capitalism is undeniably failing. Okay? That's one way. You make my job easier to, like, radicalize little kids just straight up by just making the situation so much worse for them, where they recognize that, like, the future they have in front of them is never going to be as, like, wonderful or as mythological and as great as the past. The economic opportunities afforded to the younger generation is devastating in comparison to like the older generation, who then fucking turn around and act like you know, the situation is still the same, that you can buy a house for like, you know, your comfortable little nest egg that you've generated from going and getting like a union job at a factory. Like, people who finally have like a little bit of capital accumulation after a pandemic are trying to buy a house for the first time ever, and they're getting priced out of this like insane housing market for a multitude of different reasons. But like, there's no quicker way to like radicalize people than show them that like they're permanently going to be renters for the rest of their lives. They are going to have another master on top of their bosses, on top of their managers, on top of the capital owners sitting atop ivory towers that will never ever step foot on an assembly line, or never ever step foot in that same corporate structure, if you want to talk about white collar workers. And then you get upset that like people are like, well, this sucks. We were dealt a fucking shitty hand. Elvira Salazar proposed a 30-year pathway to citizenship after her parents got it as being refugees. Yeah, there's nothing more disgusting to me than reactionary Cubans who fucking turn around and spit on every other fucking every other economic migrant, every other refugee in this country, specifically other Latin American refugees. Like, you are a dog shit, horrible monster. And this attitude permeates through some older reactionary Cubans. Like, they literally just are like, hey, we fucking got special privileges, so we're different than the rest of the economic migrants or the rest of the refugees that are coming in over the southern border. Like, it's so disgusting. It's so conservative. How the fuck do you not recognize your place? Like, how? How do you not see that? Like, the opportunities afforded to you should be afforded to everyone. It's so nasty. Venezuelans do this shit too. Yeah. Straight up.
What to do?
Well, you draw the line is that you give them the empirical evidence. You explain what Madison and Jefferson and Washington did, and you also explain with no
From what I understand, by the way, younger Cubans living in Cuba do not have such a negative opinion, and it's mostly older Cubans that feel as though there was a time that was the older Cubans that did not have the opportunity to come to America, or those Cubans who immigrated to America have an incredibly negative view. This is at least from what I've seen from talking to Cubans that still have relatives in Cuba, and younger Cubans that still live in Cuba that don't have such a overtly negative association with like their current regime. And no matter what happens, a big part of the reason why they're so fucked is literally because of American embargoes, which are unethical, inhumane, and the only two countries, and this might surprise you, in the latest what was it? What was the latest vote on lifting the embargo on Cuba? There was a recent vote to lift in a UN resolution to lift or rather to condemn United States embargo on Cuba. Every single fucking state, every single state voted to condemn the United States, except for two states. You want to know who those two states were? Just try to guess. Try to guess which two states wanted to maintain the embargo on Cuba. 184 to 2, by the way. Not states like American states. I mean like countries, nation states. It was the United States and Israel, okay? That's it. And everyone else was like, this is fucked up. Lift the embargo, you fucking assholes. What is Joe Biden doing? Why hasn't he done this? I lived in Cuba for a little. Young Cubans understand how much better they are with the current regime compared to the past. Anyway. How do you feel about spreading information to little kids who can't make sound decisions or be able to debate with you and just accept what you say because they like you and take advantage of this to implant things in their heads like a cult leader? That could be said for any kind of media whatsoever. So I try to be as good as possible with the information that I'm disseminating. Also, assuming that like the little kids were going to have a productive experience by debating is silly and is overall a self-report from Big Tick. But thank you. Anyway. We can think for ourselves, you fuckwit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a self-report. He can't think for himself. And he gets all of his knowledge and information most likely from right-wing commentators, which is precisely why he is fearful that like a left-wing commentator is capable of doing the same thing that the right-wing commentator who brainwashed him to other people. That's what it is. That's all it is. Also, little kids. I have one of the oldest audiences on Twitch, but hey, who knows? Pure projection. Let's keep going.
Without whitewashing what Che did. You know, let me just give you a little example. Che Guevara, when he invaded Cuba, you know what they would do? They would conduct...
That's so interesting. When Che Guevara invaded Cuba, what was the regime in Cuba at the time? Like, what did it look like? Invaded Cuba. She said invaded Cuba. Is she like a Batista supporter? This is what I'm always confused about. When people say like, oh, Che Guevara bad, Fidel Castro bad, it's like, do you agree with Batista? Is that what you're trying to say right now? Because that's kind of weird. Like, are you saying that Cuba was better overall as a fucking slave colony for the United States, for sugar and casinos for the mafia? Was that better overall when it was just basically a fucking little island that Americans could just exploit for its natural resources and labor force and you know, overall lack of aversion to slavery? And is that what that is? Like,
they would kill you on the firing squad, and then after that they would conduct a trial. So they kill you first, and then they did trial after. Most people don't know. They think that Che, oh my God, Che is the best. He is going to come and liberate us. And it's all a lie. And then that's what very concerning, that we're not teaching our children the reality of what they did.
But what just shows parents got to get...
all we have to do
is get involved with his Board of Education.
All we have to do is just show...
I want one person to just be like, okay, do you think Batista was good then? I just want to understand, like, when people say like, oh, Che Guevara was a murderer, he murdered people, he lined up people and like murdered them. Okay, true. Did you like Batista then? Like, how would you have changed the fascist government in power at the time? Like, are you actually saying that like that was good?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you. What were you asking me?
I was just saying,
no,
get involved with your Board of Education too, right?
Get involved, but at the same time, make sure that we are not whitewashing socialism. Unfortunately, in this country, socialism and democratic socialism, and I encounter many of my colleagues on the other side, on the floor of the United States Congress, really believing that this is the way to go. That the American philosophy, culture, and the American history, it's evil, that we are a horrible nation, and the other side, you know, Stalin and Fidel, those are the good guys. Those are the ones that will bring equality, will bring happiness to everyone. That's a lie. That's not true. So we got to teach it the way it is.
Right. You're not going to have the problem.
And then parents will decide.
Right. You're not going to have that problem in Florida, thanks to your governor. Thanks, Congresswoman. Appreciate it.
I just want to know. I really want to understand, like, how do you liberate an entire country under a brutal fascist regime without guns and without murdering people? Like how, and if that's the case, like if you are a humanist and believe that like all instances of murder across the board are unwarranted, bad, no matter what happens, then do you have a similar approach to Nazi Germany? Do you have a similar approach to the Civil War? Do you believe that like the war of northern aggression should never have happened? Like, how do we manage some of these conflicts? Good thing nobody fucking said that, you blockhead. I mean, but like, what are you saying, really? If you're, it's like when these like victims of communism memorials literally feature like actual Nazi death squads and portray them as like victims of communism. Okay, like what are you supposed to do with like the Vitesse Rend, who operated to find and collaborate with the Nazis to find Jews and murder them? Like how do you deal with that? Are you supposed to just ask them fucking nicely and just be like, hey man, can you please not expose Jews that are in hiding to get them to, you know, be sent to concentration camps or just like straight up murdered? What are we supposed to do? There are a few of those Nazi memorials in Canada. It's very funny and cool and fun. Yay, what a great country. Yeah, no, I know. What's his face has like really funny threads about them that they find like all of these like victims of communism memorials that just straight up have like actual literal Nazis like just straight up fascists and memorialize them as like victims to the horrifying communist regime. I have no issue with the revolution. However, trying to kill people fleeing is unexcusable, or maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that like fucking everything Che did was sick, okay, or Fidel Castro. Absolutely not. But making a blanket statement about like how much murder Che engaged in without talking about what was going on in Cuba at the time is kind of stupid. You know what I mean? It's like saying America invaded a foreign land and bombed so many different parts of said foreign land in this like brutal campaign, okay, where they murdered like fleeing soldiers without telling you like what this actually is. It's so disingenuous to just mention that without adding the context that like I'm actually talking about Nazi Germany. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you were talking about World War II and D-Day without mentioning that it's World War II in D-Day. Feel me? Comparing Stalin to Fidel is very ridiculous. If anything, Cubans they continue to enjoy a lot of civil and some political rights. I mean, yeah, they definitely still suffer. They don't have like the social liberalism that we enjoy in the form of like freedom of information, things like that, or at least the notion that they have like some sort of freedom of information. But as far as their economic circumstances goes, like a big chunk of the issues stem from America restricting trade and having this like insane embargo on the island. Anyway, Bush, Fidel tortured innocents, people and fleeing soldiers. We should be teaching the real side of America's history. Anyway. Cuba gave us Ana de Armas. Honestly, I think we can look past their problems with this simple fact. True. You make a very good point. There is something else I wanted to talk about, but I just cannot remember what I was going to talk about. My brain has stopped functioning. But I guess we can move on to Britney Spears' conservatorship.
We're going to turn now to that Britney Spears bombshell. She was breaking her silence in the conservatorship case and saying in a Los Angeles court that she wants her life back. ABC's Kaylee Hartong was outside that courtroom with the very latest on this story. Good morning, Kaylee.
Hey, good morning, Cecilia. This was the most shocking performance of Britney Spears' life. We listened to that virtual hearing right here at the courthouse.
God damn. Performance.
We couldn't see Britney. She only needed to call in to make this plea to a judge to end her conservatorship, and the judge forbid any recordings of the proceedings for us to share with you. But we heard a confident and a determined Britney Spears who wants the world to hear her story.
Britney Spears standing up for herself in an explosive court hearing Wednesday, passionately telling a court she's been exploited, embarrassed, and demoralized by the people behind the conservatorship that's controlled her life and finances for the last 13 years, asking that it be terminated. The 39-year-old pleading with a judge, saying, "I just want my life back." Spears addressing the court for more than 20 minutes, calling the court-ordered conservatorship, which is controlled in part by her father, Jamie Spears, abusive. The megastar saying she was accused of not participating in rehearsals for her Vegas show after disagreeing about a dance move, and accused of not taking medicine that she maintained she'd been regularly taking for years. She says that 3 days after she said she no longer wanted to do the Vegas residency, she was taken off her normal medication and put on lithium, a powerful psychiatric drug, against her will, and later sent away to a rehab program. She says when she called her dad about the decision, quote, "I cried on the phone for an hour, and he loved every minute of it. The control he had over someone as powerful as me, he loved the control."
Would you tolerate your children be watching a gaming charismatic figure they like to propagate and spread reactionary ideology to them under the guise of his likable personality and gaming content? No, because there is a difference between the ideology and the worldview that I talk about and reactionary ideology. Unless you unironically believe that there is no difference between Nazi ideology and things that I talk about. For example, oh, this is just a troll. Why am I responding to it? Yeah. Here's another reason why I ban people like this, because they derail the broadcast specifically so that they can, so they can have a really selfish moment. So I'm just going to ban them and move on. This is why I ban people, though. Not because I can't address their fucking point of view, but because they're just annoying and very selfish, really.
To hurt his own daughter. Spears comparing her experiences to sex trafficking, making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. She says she's not allowed to ride in a car driven by her boyfriend or make her own decisions about birth control, marriage.
You guys remember? I covered this back when she posted some stuff and it was so scary, dude.
Let you guys know that I am fine. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
But Spears says those posts online weren't her true feelings. "I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy. I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. But now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry, it's insane." Jamie Spears' attorneys have said that the pop star could have asked for the conservatorship to be dropped for years, but she says she didn't know that was an option. In addition to ending the conservatorship, Spears told the court she wants to be able to choose her own attorney and have sessions with a therapist in the privacy of her own home, instead of at an office where paparazzi have photographed her. She could be heard pounding her fists as she told the judge all she hears from her team is no, 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 saying she feels ganged up on, bullied, left out and alone. "I am tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anyone." But her most loyal fans, including members of the Free Britney movement who gathered outside the court, want her to know she's not alone.
It's important just to show our support, our endless support.
I'm in shock. I'm in awe. I'm incredibly proud of Britney. Just the bravery that it took was palpable.
The judge thanked Britney for her statement, saying she knows it took a lot of courage for her to come forward. And after we heard Britney describe the depths of her father's control over her, we only heard from her father through his attorney, who said he is sorry to see his daughter suffering and in so much pain. Mr. Spears loves his daughter and misses her very much. TJ.
All right, Kaylee, thank you so much. I want to bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, here in studio with us, and New York Times senior editor and co-creator of the documentary Framing Britney Spears, Liz Day. Thank you both for being here. Dan, wow. Yeah. I mean, we hearing this yesterday, hearing from her for the first time. There's this whole Free Britney movement out there. Hearing her, she sounds like a literal prisoner.
This was even more of a bombshell than we expected, right? We came into this wondering how big a deal is it going to be. This was a huge deal. What she said here. And the two things that struck me most were, first of all, the fact that she says she didn't know she could file to end this. That's astonishing, because as the lawyer involved here, I always have said, well, you know, she could always file to end this. And yet now, if this is true, that she didn't know, that's a really big deal. Number two, on the flip side to some degree, is she repeated again and again that she wanted to end this, but without a medical examination. And, you know, if you want to end this, the way to do it in a faster way is to say, I'll do anything it takes to end this. Let's get the exam done. Let's get this finished. But you can tell she's so frustrated at this point with what she says has happened to her that she's taking that position that wants it to be without any sort of medical exam.
Liz, we can't say wow enough. And we thought we knew so much about this story, partly because of the movie that you helped create. Were you surprised by what you heard in that courtroom?
Okay, before we move on to additional details, obviously some of you don't know what a conservatorship is, so I will mention that. It's a court-ordered It's basically a court order for individuals who cannot take care of themselves and are unable to make their own decisions in instances like when they have dementia or some sort of like other debilitating mental illness or mental disorder. Is that the right word? I don't know. And oftentimes conservatorships are for older people. I think there was there was a movie I watched, I Care a Lot, I think. Was it? Is it called I Care a Lot? That like literally revolved around the actual truth about how fucking horrifying conservatorship cases can be. It was like a dark comedy. It wasn't that great, but you know, it's a decent, relatively satirical approach to how that shit works. And basically, there were two parts to Britney Spears' conservatorship. One was for her estate and financial affairs, and the other was for her as a person. Under the legal agreement, Spears had not controlled her finances since 2008. Jamie Spears is the father of Britney Spears, who was initially in charge of both parts of the conservatorship, but stepped down as his daughter's personal conservator in 2019 because of health reasons. Jody Montgomery, a care professional, replaced him on a temporary basis, but Britney Spears has requested this to be made permanent. There were confidential court records that the New York Times obtained that showed that the pop star had voiced serious opposition to the conservatorship earlier. And they briefly touched on that, like her statements expressing concern, wanting to get out of it, and trying to get out of it numerous times, and not necessarily knowing how she could potentially get out of it. They showed that conservatorship restricted aspects of her life, ranging from who she dated to the color of her kitchen cabinets, to even forcibly putting her on an IUD birth control. She feels that the conservatorship has become an oppressive and controlling tool against her, a court investigator wrote in a 2016 report. The conservatorship had too much control, Spears said, according to the account of the conversation, too much. In November 2020, a judge declined to remove Mr. Spears, but named financial firm the Bessemer Trust as a co-conservator of her estate instead. So, like, the government is literally stepping in to just be like, you know, the dad can still be a part of this, but, you know, we're going to bring in other outside sources onto it. And a month later, the judge extended Mr. Spears' conservatorship until September 2021. Now, you might be wondering why the conservatorship was originally established. That was because Britney Spears was beginning to behave erratically in 2007 after her divorce from Kevin Federline was finalized and she lost custody of her own 2 children. There was a series of public incidents, if you recall, if you're old enough to remember. That's I believe where the Leave Britney Alone stuff comes from, where like she was like, you know, there were people that were raising concerns about her mental welfare. She was making headlines for shaving her head, hitting a photographer's car with an umbrella. In 2008, she was twice admitted to a hospital under temporary psychiatric assessment ruling, including after an incident in which she allegedly refused to surrender her sons in a standoff involving the police. And since then, you know, as I mentioned already, the father had taken over every aspect of her life and basically controlled every aspect of her life, including sending her out to work. You know what I mean? All right. Imagine losing your entire life and children and then being called crazy when you're reacting to your world coming apart. I mean, she definitely was experiencing like episodes, like some kind of episode. I'm not a medical expert, but you know, that wasn't like too far-fetched to state. But does it deserve such a restrictive and overreaching conservatorship like this for as long as it did? No, I don't think so.
Absolutely. I'm still shocked. She had so many jaw-dropping lines. You know, I just want my life back. This conservatorship is abusive. I deserve to have the same rights as anybody does. I'm still floored with how defiant she was and how passionate she was. And for me, I was also most surprised by what Dan said, that Britney said she did not know this entire time, this entire 13 years, she did not know she could file to end the conservatorship. That's unbelievable.
And Dan, as Liz mentioned, those jaw-dropping lines, what about the tone in how she approached all of this? The fact, obviously, she was very passionate, but there was also profanity in this presentation. What impact will that have on the case?
Well, look, I think the profanity just makes it more human, right? I mean, I don't think the judge is going to say, oh, you know, she used curse words, and therefore, I think she's going to come out of this saying, that was real. That was her. That wasn't written by somebody else. That's what she really thinks here. And, you know, judges are human, right? Which is, yes, there's going to be investigators and there's going to be doctors and there's going to be reports. But I think that this account from her is really going to matter to the judge, because this is Britney Spears speaking to the judge. And we'll soon find out what exact impact it's going to have, because she still has to file to end the conservatorship. So that's legal step number one here.
Mm-hmm. Liz, we talk about this Free Britney movement, and so much of it, and look, I'll admit, I used to watch and say, okay, they're fans of hers, they're rooting for her, they want her to be okay. But, you know, I'm hearing folks now talk about, you know what, this is going to bring some attention to the whole conservatorship laws. And so this could be more than just about Britney now.
Absolutely. And I think the fans are feeling really vindicated. You know, for 13 years, everyone has said to them, you know, we haven't heard it directly from Britney herself, you know, dismissing their passions as sort of a conspiracy theory. And now Britney has gone on the record in court and basically backed up a lot of what.
Like, can you imagine having an episode being subjected to a conservatorship where you have no control over your life or your financial assets that you have literally generated, and then having those financial assets straight up fund the continuation of your slavery, like of your legal fucking slavery, in perpetuity, pretty much. You're basically in a prison that you are funding and continuing. Like, there's reports that her lawyer was overbilling her. You know what I mean? Like, and not necessarily doing a good job defending her, or you know, extending the conservatorship pretty much. Never told her that she could get out of it. I'm being serious and no disrespect, but why are you talking about this? Like, who cares in the least disrespectful way, says Stalin's milk. I mean, this is a pretty huge problem, dude. Like, you don't consider this to be a grave injustice? Like, I don't understand. Just because it's Britney Spears, you don't think that, like, someone who is famous can't face, like, this grave injustice? I mean, think about it this way. If this can happen to Britney Spears, who is, like, visibly in the public spotlight, and this kind of exploitation can occur for someone like Britney Spears, then think about what happens to your fucking grandparents and shit. You know what I mean? So many people left behind. Think about how this could happen to an otherwise, like, someone who's in an otherwise, like, a very unfortunate situation.
What they've been saying all along.
Wow. It is just really, really something. We can't stop talking about it. Liz, Dan, thank you both so much. There's definitely more to come on this.
Well, hey there, Jim.
You know, this happens a lot with elderly people. Lawyers literally rob old people using conservatorship like this. Yeah, they do. It's kind of weird, like, that you take this approach where it's like, yeah, it's legalized slavery, but it's okay because it's a fucking pop star, you know? So it's whatever, you know, who cares?
The 39-year-old pop star told a California judge yesterday she was forced to take the drug lithium, forced to perform, and forced to take...
Wait, I want to see, like, a longer analysis on this. Like...
Okay, now to Britney Spears, who is pleading with a judge today to end her court-ordered conservatorship, which she calls, and I quote here, abusive, telling the judge, again, I quote, "I just want my life back." More on this story now from CNN's Stephanie Elam.
Britney Spears is angry. She wants her life back, and she wants the world to know it. Speaking remotely to a Los Angeles County courtroom, the pop singer saying her wish and dream is for the conservatorship to end, a legal arrangement she's been living with for nearly 13 years. In the status hearing, Spears expressing frustration over the lack of control of her own life, saying, quote, "I'm traumatized. I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry, it's insane." Even adding she wants to marry and have another child, both major life moments she says the current conservatorship doesn't allow. Her father's only response to the artist's stinging criticisms was that he loves and misses her. The trouble for Britney Spears began in 2007. Her girl next door image unraveling in front of the paparazzi who were always chasing her, capturing her every move, especially the uncomfortable moments in the singer's personal life. The following year, multiple health and psychiatric issues landed Spears in the hospital in January. Her father, Jamie Spears, filed a petition with the Los Angeles County Superior Court that February to place her under a temporary probate conservatorship. Jamie Spears and attorney Andrew Wallet becoming permanent co-conservators of Britney's estimated $60 million estate in October 2008. Her father getting control of her medical care, something Spears spoke emotionally about, saying, quote, "I want to be able to get married and have a baby. I was told I can't get married. I have an IUD inside me, but this so-called team won't let me go to the doctor to remove it because they don't want me to have any more children. This conservatorship is doing me way more harm than good."
Usually, most conservatorships in probate court are for the elderly, people that have exhibited memory deficits or judgment deficits that are pervasive and most likely going to endure for the rest of their lives.
But through all this, Britney Spears kept working while under this conservatorship, releasing several albums, 2 that went platinum.
What's up, Vegas?
Holding down her Pieces of Me Las Vegas residency, reportedly earning her $30 million, and serving as a judge on The X Factor.
Well, she did lose custody of both her children. I don't think she would have been allowed to have more. No. Yes, you're right. When you lose custody of your children, you should be sterilized forcibly. That's a very good and very humane take from the chatter. Yeah, there's no way to like I don't know, get better or treat someone who has like mental health problems and then, you know, give them freedom. Once you have mental health issues or complications and like you may lose your custody over your children as a consequence of that, then you know, it's time to sterilize you. Sorry. That's a fun fact. That's actually what Nazis believed. So, and also American fascists. So you're not super far off from, you know, that mentality. Very cool.
Attorney Andrew Wallet resigned in the spring of 2019, leaving Spears' father in control of just about every aspect of Britney's life. But last summer, Britney pushed back. In legal documents, her court-appointed lawyer stating Britney is, quote, strongly opposed to having her father as conservator and requested that Jamie be removed. Instead, a judge in November added Bessemer Trust, a private wealth and investment management firm, as a co-conservator to oversee her estate. Now Spears wants to pick her own lawyer, and as she said in court, quote, I just want my life back. Stephanie Elam, CNN, Los Angeles.
So joining me now to discuss, Samantha Stark is here. Samantha is the director of the documentary Framing Britney Spears. I love the doc, by the way, Samantha. It was really, really great. So thank you for that. And CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson, a criminal defense attorney.
Britney Spears, a multimillionaire. Why the fuck do we care about this? Why do you care about legalized slavery because someone is a multimillionaire who literally does not even have access to the funds that she's generating, whose funds are like actually facilitating her own legalized slavery? That's very cool. Some of you guys are fucking morons. You are a baboon. You have a baboon brain. You see rich and you immediately see red. And you think to yourself, human rights abuses like literal slavery are acceptable if they're generating a lot of money. Even if that money that they're generating isn't directly, you know, funding their lifestyle, but instead straight up directly funding their slavery, further slavery, and also, you know, being caged. It's like looking at the prison industrial complex and saying, why do we care about prisoners? I mean, ultimately, their labor is funding a massive multi-billion-dollar industry. They should keep being enslaved. It's captivity and slavery.
Hey, Joey, always a pleasure to have you on. Good to see you as well. Joey, so Britney Spears wants to end her conservatorship. She has been under it for nearly 13 years. She doesn't want to have a clear, she doesn't want to have a clear health evaluation. She's 39 years old. She's incredibly successful. Will it happen? What's going to happen?
So it could, Don. Good evening to you. So what happens is we obviously know that she's had her share of issues, right? She had some mental health problems. A lot of people do. That is a thing. And so unfortunately with that and some alleged drug use or what have you, about 13 years ago, her father thought it was appropriate to act as her guardian. A lot of things at stake, a lot of assets at stake, a lot of decisions to be made, and a lot of predators, quite frankly, as it relates to all of her monies and all of her income. And so there was this conservatorship, and I think at that time, perhaps for very good reason, and that's continued over the course of the years to guide her, to look over her, to ensure that things are as they should be. But now, as she apparently gets better, she's in court, indicating that she's competent, she's able, she's responsible, and that she wants back in. And so, look, we live in a society where all of us should be able to tend to our affairs if we're competent and able to do so, and the argument she's making is that she is. And so,
Mods, you can ban people who keep saying, is this worth our attention? Like, yeah, it is. I declare it worthy of attention. I sit around and literally watch, like, architectural digest videos and shit. Suck my fucking cock, you pathetic fucking stupid loser. I'm gonna run my show the way I want to run it. If you don't like it, you can get the fuck out, okay? You can see yourself out of this fucking community, out of this chat, or you can shut the fuck up because I just took away your free speech rights in the chat, okay? And shut the fuck up and watch. Some of you don't deserve a say in this process. Some of you don't deserve a say in this community until you know how to fucking behave. Sorry, it is what it is. You behave like an animal, I'm going to treat you like a fucking animal.
So to your question, in the event that she can demonstrate to a court's satisfaction after psychiatric and other evaluations happen that she should be in place and that everyone else should be removed, I think that's exactly what should happen. We're a ways from that, but I think certainly that's what the movement is that she would like to see moving forward.
So Samantha, Britney Spears didn't hold back today. She talked about not being able to get married or have a baby. She said that her so-called team won't let her get off birth control. I mean, you really opened a lot of people's eyes to what she is going through in your documentary. Are you surprised by what we learned today?
I'm absolutely not surprised because we knew most of it from our investigation that we published yesterday about how Britney has been wanting to get out of this for so long. I also have to disagree with my fellow panelists' position that, I think a lot of people assume just say, oh, she needed it, like this, it really helped her, it saved her life. But now is a different story. This woman was guest starring on national TV, releasing an album and doing an international tour of 100 shows within 1 year of being put in this conservatorship. And that's part of what she was expressing. She said, I know that I can provide for myself. I'm bringing in all the money and I'm also paying all of you, to the lawyers and to all the people around her. She said she felt forced into a mental health facility and forced to perform. She said she would be retaliated against with visits from her kids and visits from her boyfriend taken away if she didn't agree to these performances and tours that she felt too tired to do. She didn't want to do it anymore. And forcing somebody to work and forcing someone into a mental health facility. And she said, they forced me to take lithium, which I had never taken before. This is in 2019. She said that. And, she also said to the judge, she said, I told you all of this 2 years ago in 2019 and it felt like you didn't listen to me. I felt like I was dead. I felt like I didn't matter. And those are strong words for a strong situation. This woman was completely cognizant and had so many points about how she was taken advantage of. She also said she was abused.
So, Donna,
Joy, I'm out of time. I literally have five seconds left, if that much. So what's next? What is next here?
What's next is I think she has to demonstrate she's competent and able. And remember, at the end of the day, we have to be about facts. I'm not here as a Britney Spears fan or someone who's saying she's abused.
You're a legal
she's not
analyst.
abused.
That's why you're here.
At the end of the day, right, it's up to whether she's competent. Apparently, that indication was made she wasn't. A judge agreed. There's a lot that's sealed that we don't know. And so we can't take one side or the other. I would caution we have to be objective in our evaluation. Many of those documents are sealed. We don't know what we don't know. What we do know is a judge felt it was appropriate to keep in place. A judge will make the assessment moving forward as to whether or not it will be removed. That'll be up to her and whether she's competent and able.
I want to bring in now CNN legal analyst Areva Martin, a civil rights attorney. Areva, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to it. Thank you so much. Britney Spears has lived under this conservatorship since 2008. Most arrangements like this are for elderly people or mentally disabled people. She's released several albums during this time. She's had her Vegas residency.
What I fail to understand is, how are you not competent enough to take care of yourself, but you're competent enough to be able to put out 2 fucking platinum albums and, do a Vegas tour? That, it doesn't make any sense that, she's competent enough to keep making money so that the conservatorship could continue and her family could fucking eat. But, she's not competent enough to take care of her own, self. It's wild. And that a judge continued it. It's so strange.
How unusual is an arrangement like this for a successful 39-year-old woman?
Hello, Don. Good to see you. And you are right. This is incredibly unusual. And I think Britney put it best when she said it's abusive. When you think...
Why do conservatorships exist? It's for people with dementia and Alzheimer's and shit like that. It's for older patients that, unironically, cannot take care of themselves at all. It is to help people who cannot take care of themselves to appropriate their finances to ensure that they can survive, they can continue living. Okay, that's it. That's what it is. Or minors without parents. Yeah, people who just do not have the capability of taking care of themselves. It makes sense. I don't have a problem with conservatorships in general. Okay, I don't think that they should completely cease to exist. Because there are people who, if they may have some funds and left to their own devices, like they literally cannot survive. Should they die? Should they be euthanized? Like, what are they supposed to do? What happens to people who cannot take care of themselves? Okay.
Think of conservatorship, you usually think of someone in their 80s or their 90s who has suffered from dementia or Alzheimer's, and they're no longer to make, decisions about their finances or their health. They are mentally incapacitated. Britney Spears is none of that. As you just, appropriately stated, this woman has been working, and not just working a 9-to-5 job. She's been performing at the highest level. She was a judge for 1 year on a national competition show. She's toured the
Come on, Maz, that one was literally Groiper 678.
world, giving concerts. And so when you think about who is incapacitated, her picture should be nowhere near the definition of being mentally incapacitated. So it's really bothersome to me as a lawyer that the court system has allowed this conservatorship to go on for as long as it has. But, I applaud her for her bravery, her courage to speak up for herself and to advocate for herself, and not just herself. Britney is a mother of 2 kids, and she wants to have another child. She says she wants to get married, and she is forced to wear an IUD. So even decisions about her own reproductive rights have been deprived. She's been deprived of those rights, and I cannot think of any legal reason why this conservatorship is still in place.
And she feeds a lot of mouths and runs companies, right? There are a lot of people who depend on Britney Spears' success. Confidential court records obtained by the New York Times reveal that Britney Spears has been pushing to end her conservatorship for years now. Even as early as 2014, she wanted to explore removing her father as a conservator. Why has this gone on for so long?
That's the million-dollar question, Don. Why has this gone on so long? Why has the court allowed it? And why has Britney's father? Think about this. This is her biological father. You would think that in the interest of a father-daughter relationship, he would voluntarily end this relationship. But you stated, again, appropriately, that a lot of mouths are being fed. These conservatorships are incredibly expensive to run. There are lots of people who are getting paid, who profit from Britney Spears' talent, from her labor. And the fact that it has gone on so long is really abhorrent. It speaks really poorly of our court system. And I'm hopeful that today marks the beginning of what will soon be the end of this conservatorship.
Ariva, it's always good to see you. We'll continue to report on this story, and we'll have you back. Thank you very much.
I want to know like a descriptor. Like I want to know if there's like a longer one instead of just like reactions. You know what I mean? Apparently she compared it to sex trafficking. Pretty sick that her father was basically paying himself 16 grand a month as her conservator. Yeah. The New York Times documentary. I don't want to watch the full testimony because apparently we're not legally allowed to listen to it.
I was heard on any level when I came to court the last time. I brought 4 sheets of...
I do want to show you some parts of it though, at least, so that you, this is leaked audio, but I want you to hear some of it so you understand like her mental faculties, because the way that people describe her situation is like she has nothing, like she has no way to process what's happening to her. You know what I mean? And that she doesn't understand the situation she's in, and that like I want to show you some of it, like so you understand that like this is a fully capable human. Okay, I mean, not that like we are not a we're not like professionals, obviously. I'm not. So I can't speak on it credibly. I don't think professionals can even speak on it credibly without like actually assessing her in person. But, you know, I'm going to give my fucking dumbass opinion anyway, regardless. And show you like at least a piece from it.
This conservatorship, so basically this conservatorship is doing me way more harm than good. I deserve to have a life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have a 2 to 3 year break and just, you know, do what I want to do. But I do feel like there is a crunch here, and I feel like I feel open and I'm okay to talk to you today about it. But I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever, because when I get off the phone with you, all of a sudden, I hear all these no's, no, 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 and then all of a sudden I get
Twitter video, dude. Jesus Christ.
I feel ganged up on, and I feel bullied, and I feel left out and alone. And I'm tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anybody does by having a child, a family, any of those things.
It's literally like living in a nightmare, dude. It's like literally living in an everyday nightmare, where the people closest to you that are supposed to take care of you, that are telling the rest of the world that they are taking care of you, are enslaving you as you are forced to make money for them.
I mean,
you know what I mean? It's wild, dude. It is a wild thing to consider. This person has been like making money for the family to the tune of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, since she was like fucking 14.
And more so. And that's all I wanted to say to you. And thank you so much for letting me speak to you today.
Anyway. She was 11 on Mickey Mouse Club. Okay, did she start off at 11? I'm not super familiar with her career, to be honest, so I can't speak on that. But there's a transcript on Variety if you want to see it. There's a full leaked audio if you want to hear it.
she's always wanted to get out of it.
Britney Spears' older brother Brian opens up about her conservatorship.
It's, you know, it's very.
This is back from 2020.
Frustrating to have, whether it's someone's coming in peace to help, or they're coming in with, you know, an attitude, like having someone constantly tell you to do something, it's got to be frustrating.
The rare interview happened on the As Not Seen on TV podcast, and it took place during a hearing about the conservatorship.
But apparently you know enough to know that she doesn't need this. I don't need to know like exactly the fucking details, every minute detail of her career to know that, like, yeah, legalized slavery in this in this way is completely unacceptable. Do you need to know that? Do you need to know if she was in the Mickey Mouse Club at the age of 11, or her career started at the age of 14 to know that like legalized slavery is bad? Or forced birth control is bad? That's kind of a wild fucking take there. You really thought you were smart, but you couldn't even see that the top of the hour was coming and the 60-second ad break was going to be here, right in front of your fucking face. If you'd like to no longer see said ads, all you need to do is subscribe. Okay? It's that easy. You can use an ad block or a VPN, or subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is free. Yeah, bet you didn't see that coming. Here is the 60-second ad break now. I'm trying to get better at like not changing my tone whenever I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, I hear there's like a couple of hearings, I guess, going on right now. Not sure what, you know, the details and all that's going to be, but you know, we all hope for the best.
ET has learned that during the hearing, which happened on July 22nd, Britney was supposed to appear via video conference, but it got postponed after unauthorized parties accessed the court's video server.
My life is kind of like an open book to the tabloids.
Brian did claim during his chat that Britney does want out of the conservatorship, which was put in place in 2008, giving their father Jamie control over Britney's finances and personal decisions.
If I wasn't under the restraints that I'm under right now, you know, with all the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day and all that kind of stuff, like if I wasn't there, I'd feel so liberated and feel like myself.
In 2013, Britney told ET this about her dating life.
The reports of your dad doing a background check on David, is that not true?
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Does that embarrass you?
My dad's a little crazy like that.
Does he own a gun?
He does own a gun.
Okay, help yourself there.
But as for the hashtag Free Britney movement and fan theories that Britney needs help escaping her situation, Brian had this to say.
I don't follow it that well, but I am aware that like they feel like, you know, like it's, I don't know, maybe she's being confined or something or held against her will in some capacity, but I can't really, you know, I can't speak for them.
The conservatorship
Hey it, pussy. What the fuck?
has been under scrutiny over the past year, with fans wondering why 38-year-old Britney is still under a legal guardianship.
Yeah, chatters will unironically be like, you think legalized slavery is bad? Name 3 of her albums. Like, and then sit there and act like they just brought up a profound point. You know what I mean? Like, I just fucking destroyed you in the marketplace of ideas. And then they turn around and go, Hasan hates opposing opinions. It's like, he just cannot match my intellectual rigor. Like, sorry, my intellectual might is too much for you, I think. I will sit here and justify legalized slavery. I will do it. That chatter was joking, making fun of other chatters. I'm just saying that, like, it's funny that, you know, big brain intellectuals always try to prove a point like this.
I'm in this thing for quite some time now. Obviously, there was a need for it in the beginning.
I'm a Sagittarius. I'm very keen on freedom. I love freedom. I love independence. I don't like to be tied down.
Britney and Brian's mother, Lynn, recently filed paperwork to be notified of all matters regarding Britney's finances.
The women in this family are very, very strong-minded and have their...
PCM literally says you're closed-minded. Who the fuck is PCM? For not bringing those chatters on your stream for a live debate? What the fuck is a PCM? Oh, political compass memes. Yeah.
Their own opinion, and they want to do what they want to do. And as much as I admire that as a guy and being like one of 2 guys in this entire family, it kind of sucks, man.
In 2019, a source told ET that Lynn has always wanted to have a position in Britney's conservatorship.
Did I ever manage my children? Never. Did I ever take any percentages of anything they ever did? No, I did not. And do I even know how to broker a deal? People give me way too much credit for being such a savvy business person, because I really don't even know how to do these things.
Hours after Brian's interview went live, Britney took to Instagram to do a Q&A of her own.
What's my favorite flower? It's a rose.
And fans think that Britney subtly responded to a comment that her brother made earlier in the day.
She's the worst driver in the world. I'm not lying. Like bless her heart. Like, she really is not a really good driver.
Have I ever gotten a speeding ticket? I've had 1 speeding ticket my whole life.
Where is the what do you call it? The fucking New York Times documentary. Are you not going to read the transcript? I guess it might be too long. Yeah, I'm not going to read it. More indigenous children found in dead in Canada just now on Twitter. Yeah, I heard. You mean the Hulu one? No, I don't want the whole thing. It's on Hulu? Yeah, never mind then. That's like an actual thing I can't watch. Here's a great series on Free Britney, uncovering Britney Spears' dark past. Jesus Christ.
From Kentwood, Louisiana, here is 10-year-old Britney Spears.
I love when people say free trial, you himbo, not recognizing that like a free trial does not absolve you from DMCA. Like the New York Times is probably not going to DMCA me over this. But if it's like a Hulu documentary, then it's a little bit different. And I might get DMCA'd over it.
What do we want? Free Britney! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free Britney!
If they post it on YouTube, though, it could be fine. But I mean, probably not.
This is Free Britney 102, where we explore issues related to the Free Britney movement. The Free Britney movement is advocating for the end of Britney Spears' conservatorship.
I need everyone who is scrolling right now to stop and watch this video.
Britney Spears needs our help. Since 2008, she has been under something called a legal conservatorship by her father.
Now, a conservatorship literally gives someone else the control of your life. They decide what you can and can't do, and it's usually used for elderly people who don't have the necessary brain function.
But a functioning woman that's been working nonstop, it doesn't make any sense.
Dear Britney, my name is Elizabeth Denon, and I'm 29 years old.
My name is James Miller, and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
My name is Jasmine. I'm 28, and I am a Scorpio from New Jersey.
Dear Britney. Dear Britney.
Okay, I want to see like different aspects of this, but this might be a little bit better and all-encompassing. Okay, this is like fucking twisted, dude. Why do they shoot this like my YouTube video editors and like creepypasta style editing? I think that your definition of slavery is a little wrong to all the people that have actually experienced true slavery. Omega lol. Forcibly sending someone out to work against their will is slavery. It's what the fuck, dude? Just take a week off and think about it.
People can take everything away from you, but they can never take away your truth. But the question is...
The part of the problem is, like, one, she's a rich white woman, okay? So, you know, people are having a hard time seeing her as a victim here. In this community, at least. Some people are. Two, the actual issue, though, on the other hand, for the broader public, is that for the broader public, the actual issue here is the fact that, like, she's strange, okay? And, like, she probably does have some, I mean, she certainly does have some mental health issues. So when you have, like, mental health problems, it's so hard to fucking garner sympathy. It's wild that it's like people will justify the actions a court takes specifically because, like, you kind of look at her and you're like, well, it doesn't seem like she's all there. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess it's fine to just, like, continue her oppression and her slavery and
Can you handle it? Can you handle my truth? I don't know.
It's kind of crazy though to think about, because like this shit could have happened to fucking Kanye West too. Like, now that I think about it, I mean, it just entirely depends on like who is around him. But like this absolutely could have happened to Kanye West as well, depending on how the Kardashians wanted to treat him. You know what I mean?
Not in control of her own life. Over the past few months, hundreds of articles, clickbait stories, and TikToks have detailed the horrible tragedy that is Britney's conservatorship, many painting it as a conspiracy theory, and others coming up with complex conspiracies of their own. But in this three-part series, we are aiming to clarify and explain what is actually going on with one of the most beloved pop stars on the planet, and detail the horrific abuse Britney has faced not only at the hands of the media, but the people closest to her as well, people she trusted. So to begin, let's go back to where it all started, Kentwood, Louisiana.
James, aka Jamie Spears,
of course, motherfucking Louisiana, dude,
and Lynn Spears married in July of 1976. Little did the struggling small-town newlyweds know they would eventually give birth to an international phenomenon that would change our entire culture forever. Jamie was a building contractor, and Lynn would take care of Brian Spears, their firstborn. They were like many Americans living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get by. But even before Britney was born, Jamie and Lynn's marriage always seemed to be in a toxic and unhealthy place. Living in a town as small as Kentwood, Louisiana, gossip makes its way around the town quickly. And on Christmas Day, 1979, Jamie was allegedly spotted at a local Kentwood bar, cozying up.
Dude, I've been drinking a lot of water. Sorry to like cut this off here for a second, but I've been drinking a lot of water, so I've just been like peeing like a racehorse, dude.
To another woman. Just 1 week later, on January 2nd, 1980, Lynn Spears would file for divorce, alleging he committed adultery that night. She would also request a restraining order, worried that Jamie's reaction to the divorce could end up in harassment or even physical harm, especially if Jamie had been drinking. Lynn did end up withdrawing the divorce paperwork in March of 1980. However, Jamie's drinking would continue to escalate, and this would not be the first restraining order requested against Jamie Spears in his lifetime. On December 2nd, 1981, a pop star emerged from the womb, and her name was Britney Jean Spears. Born in Macomb, Mississippi, just 30 minutes away from Kentwood, Louisiana.
Welcome to my hometown of Kentwood, Louisiana. It's a small, small town about an hour north of New Orleans. Where I come from is country, and when I get back home, I start talking country again. Stuff like yonder and hey y'all, or what y'all doing, stuff like that. This is my great-grandmother. Everybody calls her Granny, and you haven't tasted any seafood until you taste hers. I work the cash register and clean the tables and help the customers. These are gonna be I really love living in Louisiana. The people here are so nice. They treat you like family and make you feel right at home.
Kentwood is a tiny, tiny, tiny town with a population of 2,122 and a median household income that is half.
Is their origin story really necessary? Is their origin story really necessary? Yes, I think so. I think it like shows a trajectory of exploitation that got worse over years. Why are you talking about Britney Spears when you clarify that you know nothing about the case? Either your legal system has a form of oversight to check from an outside source if she still needs a guardianship, or your legal system has not, question mark. In that case, either uses a case as a stepstone to talk about a messed up legal system, or don't jump on this bandwagon 2 years too late. If you don't know about something from 2 years ago, that means you are incapable of learning about that thing. Why are you literally trying to learn about it? It's kind of fucked up. 7-month subscriber, Lenny013. QAnon conspiracies are high-class literature compared to the Free Britney movement. Breadcrumbs for truth. Lol W. Kind of weird that you want to learn more about this case. It's kind of fucked up.
Dear Britney.
I'm so nervous. I'm like sweating.
Half of the national average. This means that many are at or below the poverty line, and Lynn and Jamie Spears were no exception. Jamie's continued drinking would make it difficult for him to hold down jobs and support the family. Times would get so rough, the fridge would be empty, and Jamie would have to hunt in his backyard for small animals in order to feed the kids. It is now 1984, and Britney was just 3 years old when Lynn Spears saw star potential in her daughter. Lynn did not want to waste any time preparing Britney to be a performer, so she put her then toddler in voice and dancing lessons. This would be just the beginning of the stage mom years.
I think the biggest regrets that I have right now, by looking back, I didn't follow my mother's intuition a lot of times, or my gut instincts. I would let people talk me into things, or, you know, influence me, and I was right. My initial gut instinct was always right on. And sometimes I didn't follow it. I have to laugh when I hear people call me stage mom, because right now I can see one of my students that I taught. He's now an English professor in a small community college. I'm a teacher at heart. The stage mom was not my choice, and I never was.
Many believe Lynn saw Britney's potential as her out from a toxic marriage and a life filled with financial struggles. However, the financial hardships and home life would only get worse as they tried to make Britney a star. Britney was a busy child. Aside from ballet, jazz, gymnastics, and voice lessons, she would also sing in her church's choir, compete in children's talent shows, join dance competitions, compete at the state level for gymnastics, sing on local television, and even did a short run of beauty pageants where she, of course, won the talent portion. Having Britney in all of these activities and competitions was really expensive.
Money was sometimes tight.
It was not unheard of for them to wear hand-me-down clothes.
It's kind of one of those things where you know it, you just don't talk about it.
Sending children to private school can get expensive for anyone.
It was really hard on them, putting her through, you know, dance lessons and singing lessons and going to an academy like that.
There's tuition, there's registration, there are books, there are assessment fees. I would imagine having 3, it would be expensive to do.
This would only further the financial struggles for the Spears family and inevitably strain Lynn and Jamie's marriage even more. William Spears, brother of Jamie Spears, recalls when Britney was no older than 5 years old, Jamie Spears tried to drive off drunk with Britney in the car. William stopped him and they had a physical altercation in front of Britney, who was screaming scared. William also remembered a time when they were all in the kitchen. Lynn was just drinking a glass of water and Jamie walked in drunk, insulted Lynn, grabbed her glass of water, hurled it across the room, shattering it. Britney was regularly witness to.
It seems to me like it's great to have this guy, you know, be legally in charge of Britney Spears' entire life. Now, he could have gotten better. He could have recovered from alcoholism and no longer engages in domestic abuse. But that trauma is still important to recognize when talking about why she developed mental health complications down the line.
To these drunken, violent episodes and her parents regularly screaming at each other. Britney's Aunt Sandra was a safe place for her, and they were really close. Many times when her parents would scream and yell, she would run over to her aunt's house to escape what was a very toxic, unhealthy home. Even throughout her career, she would find ways to thank her Aunt Sandra.
My beautiful, sweet family for just instilling in me the love of music, just teaching me diligence, perseverance, and always sacrifice no matter what the cost. I love you. And I want to thank the Lord for just proving to me I can do anything through him who gives me strength. And I truly believe if you follow your heart, and most importantly, God, your dreams will come true. And these are for you, Aunt Sandra.
Another escape from home for Britney and Lynn would be performing. So in 1990, Lynn took Britney all the way to Atlanta, Georgia to audition for a spot on the Disney Channel's The Mickey Mouse Club. Britney was just 8 years old at the time, but she made it all the way to the final 6. However, she was told to come back when she was 10. Casting director Matt Casella knew Britney was incredible, so he introduced her to Nancy Carson, a New York talent agent. Nancy got Lynn to enroll Britney in the Professional Performing Arts School. Now we're in 1992, which was a huge huge year for Britney Spears because she debuted on the TV show Star Search. She did an incredible job, but she didn't end up winning. Even though a young Britney was rejected on live TV, this did not discourage her. In fact, it motivated her. Then talent agent Nancy Carson would get Britney Spears an understudy role along with Natalie Portman on the off-Broadway play Ruthless. Britney, her baby sister Jamie, and Lynn would temporarily move to a very tiny New York apartment. But Britney, she was young and she was working really long hours.
It was every night and it was just like so monotonous. It was just, but then I kind of got tired and I was gonna have to perform on Christmas night. And I was getting, really upset, because I wanted Santa Claus, I wanted to be home with my family. And, I think I was like 11 years old. And, so I told my mom, because she always told me, whenever you want to pack up and just go home, let's do it. So I was like, you know what? I gotta go home. I gotta go home and be with my family again. Yeah, because I totally missed it. So we packed up and everything. But the day before we left to audition again for the Mickey Mouse Club, they had another, audition for it. It was like, this is like 2 years later. And that's when I got it. So I got to go home and experience Christmas.
The Mickey Mouse Club was truly Britney's big break at just age 11. It was filmed at MGM Studios in California. So Britney would live in California 6 months out of the year to film the show and was working a full 9 to 6, which are pretty long hours for a child. She filmed for 2 years alongside Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling.
Yes, it is child labor.
Christina Aguilera, just to name a few. According to Mental Floss, the Mickey Mouse Club contracts were exploitative as the children would make $185 a week, which comes out to under $5 an hour with the kids working full days. After they wrapped up filming in 1994, Britney would return home to be a typical kid for the first time in her life. Britney's parents at this point were really struggling. With the Mickey Mouse contracts not being that great, they'd gotten into serious debt trying to make Britney a star. There were judgments against them to seize their property and sell it to collect debt and federal tax liens. At this point, the Spears family was going bankrupt. 1995 is the only year in Britney Spears' childhood where she seemed to live a somewhat normal teenage life. It was 9th grade and she was going to a typical high school, getting elected for homecoming court, and was dating the star football player Reg Jones. Reg and Britney went to prom that year, the first and only prom Britney would ever go to. But this year of normalcy would quickly come to an end.
We want to thank Opinion Outpost for sponsoring this video
and allowing us to devote over.
What a break.
After the success of the Spice Girls in the UK, the late 1990s saw a surge of interest in girl groups. Record labels from the United
That was wild. That just like literally jumped up at me. I was not expecting that.
To capitalize off of their success and form girl groups of their own, and every label wanted the next Spice Girls, and they were going to get their way. Britney was even in talks with Lou Pearlman to join the female pop group Innocence. However, Larry Rudolph, then entertainment lawyer who Britney had met when she was 13 through Justin Timberlake, had a different idea. Larry wanted to pitch her to record labels as a solo artist. So Britney recorded a demo and flew to New York all by herself for one day to sing for various labels. Most turned her down as they were all looking for pop groups, but Jive Records thought Britney had just the commercial appeal they were looking for, and on August 4th, 1997, Britney changed the world forever and signed a recording contract with Jive. There are tons of theories across the internet about how they worked to change Britney's voice before recording her album to the iconic Britney Spears baby voice we all know today. Britney loved Whitney Houston and sang in a deeper voice in her earlier days. But they needed a pop icon, and Britney would be just the one to deliver that either way. And just like that, Britney was off to Sweden to record part of her first album with Swedish songwriter and producer Max Martin. On October 23rd, when Britney was 16, Baby One More Time was released as her debut single and would become one of the best-selling singles ever released, launching a small-town Britney into an international pop star, thus kicking off the 21st century pop renaissance. On January 12th, 1999, Britney took the pop music scene by storm and released her debut album Baby One More Time. It reached #1 in 15 countries, becoming the best-selling debut album of any artist to date. This was huge. In just a few short months, Britney Spears was a household name. She was winning awards, opening for NSYNC, and touring across malls in America. You could not turn on your TV in 1999 without seeing the 17-year-old pop sensation Britney Spears.
Female vocalist or female artist of the year would be...
And the choice female artist is...
And the choice female artist is...
And the winner is...
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Bro, we used to... like, even in the 90s, like, fucking Hollywood was just straight up sexualizing 16-year-olds, like, aggressively, dude. That, like, now that I think about it, it's, like, kind of crazy. I mean, at the time, I was a baby myself, so I had no fucking clue. I was just like, yeah, she's hot. Because I myself was a child. But that's crazy. Okay, I can't listen to this music. All right, there's a whole podcast on the litification of Britney Spears, and it goes in the background of Hollywood does this.
Newfound stardom was Britney being turned into a teenage symbol. They would often ask teenage Britney really invasive questions.
It's classic Britney, as a magazine said, a kind of puzzle under all those shifting images, playing innocent, and then playing the shock for all it's worth.
We look at you like you're a little girl. No. We look at you like you're a big skank. But nice of her to try and break free of her kitty pop image and show she's an independent woman by becoming a toy for a group of sweaty guys. I am woman. Hear me, whore.
I would like you to talk to the young kids and tell.
Hell yeah, dude. Shock jock shit in like the fucking 90s, 2000s. This is why I always say conservatives get better fucking jokes. Develop newer material, you fucking assholes. This is literally the same shit. Y'all have been doing the exact same shit nonstop. You haven't fucking changed, dude. It's so whack.
Britney Spears should be grounded for wearing that. Did you see what you're an adult woman. You're a grown-up. Britney Spears is 18. She's like, you know, takes 2 Band-Aids and she's singing there. I don't appreciate that.
She's a nice girl.
She's very nice, but the trampy outfits have to go.
But it's going to be hard to hear the criticism, and I know.
Trampy outfits.
Lynn, as a mom, you've been criticized too. You know, like, why do you let her go out looking like that sometimes? How have you dealt with it, and what advice have you given Britney about her appearance?
Well, and what people don't understand is that Britney doesn't go out looking like that. I mean, when she goes to some party, or if it's the Grammy or whatever, that's where you dress up.
Being a girl,
that's a costume. That is glamour.
And then I sit and think, okay, what does a 15-year-old girl think about this? Do you have I guess, a greater concern for the social setup when you make your videos? Do you say, you know what, I don't want to be represented in this particular manner?
I'm the one that they're like, take that off, so we need to put you in something a little bit more appropriate. Not that I'm like, you know, like scandalous or anything, no. But sometimes they try to, you know, dress me properly. Now that you're 19, is there part of you that just wants to say, why is it wrong?
Everybody's going to have opinion and you can't please everybody, but I mean, as long as you're comfortable, I say wear what you want to wear, you know what I mean? It's all in how you carry yourself and how you live, and, you know, that's what it boils down to.
The wife of the governor of Maryland, who appeared at an anti-violence rally, and, well, listen to what she said.
Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well,
Dude, America has always been so fucked up, so violent, so misogynistic, like, and our media has always been this way and probably will continue to be this way with like different flavors and different kinds of seasoning, okay? Like, this is straight up no different than what the fuck goes on right now. Like,
that's really bad.
Because of the example for kids and how hard it is to be a parent and keep all of this away from your kids.
I'm anti-violence except for when it comes to murdering Britney Spears for wearing what she wanted to wear.
You know, I can't help that, and if the parents don't like them to see it, then change the channel. So, sorry.
Her life was regularly questioned, and that's when Britney said she was saving sex for marriage.
Do you wish you'd never said anything about the virginity thing because it's going to follow you to wedding night?
I kind of wish, yeah, I kind of do, because when I go overseas, you know, they'll ask you questions about it, and it's just something that's there, and you can't help it.
Which then the media became obsessed with Britney and her virginity.
I'm just wondering how you feel about all the constant speculation about your virginity and whether you...
That's so insane, dude. That's fucking insane. I mean, I don't know the details of this, but like, dude, child actors and child celebrities get so fucking... They get so fucked up, dude. They get thrown in the goddamn meat grinder. And it's wild because, like, in a weird way, because of all of your successes, no one cares about you. Like, I mean, sure, you have, like, legions of fans that love everything that you do and admire you and adore you, but also simultaneously, like, even then, they're just, like, kind of treating you as a deity, an object, rather than like a real human being. But also on the other side, there are plenty more people who just despise you.
You are a virgin or not.
I really wish I would have never said anything to begin with, because I'm kind of stuck in this little place where people are always asking me. But, you know, that's just something that's part of growing up, and that's just something that we all have to deal with, so...
Have there been any changes on that front?
That's a personal question.
This is you talking about Britney. Would you walk around the street in an effing bra? She's not being herself up there because she's dancing like a hoe. Is she a hoe? She says she's a virgin. You know, it's just not clicking. End quote. Avril Lavigne on Britney Spears.
There's one subject we didn't discuss. What was that? Everyone's talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
My breasts.
You seem to get furious when a talk show host comes up with this subject. Okay, in general, what do you think about breast implants, just in general?
Well, I think if that's what you want to do and that would make you happy, then I see nothing wrong with it. But I haven't done that. But I think it's sad that people, you know, think.
Bro, it's kind of wild. Like, you can never put yourself in her circumstances. Like, it's impossible, right? Especially at such an early age. It is kind of, it's so fucking nasty, dude. God damn, we really let people get away with like such gross shit.
I've done that because that makes them want to go out, and you know, some of the fans that look up to me, they either think bad of me or they may want to go out and do that, but that's not my fault because the press started that.
Amongst all these disgusting questions and uncomfortable interviews, one of the most iconic relationships to date formed. Britney Spears started dating teen heartthrob Justin Timberlake. They became pop royalty and the it couple that the media could not stop talking about. And in 2000, Britney kept that momentum going. In May of that year, she released Oops, I Did It Again. This album was another huge hit and her second best-selling album to date. In the 2000s, Britney also began forming her pop star image. She would often push the envelope, much like Madonna in the 80s and 90s, but she was taking it even further. For example, at the 2000 VMAs, Britney performed Oops, I Did It Again, and at the time it was considered extremely controversial because of her nude-colored outfit and dancing. Almost everything Britney did at the time was considered a scandal. In the following year, Britney released the album Britney in October 2001. With songs like Slave for You and I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman had the media already talking. But then Britney performed the 2001 VMAs with probably the most iconic performance ever. She started off in a cage with one of Doc Antle's tigers and would proceed to put a giant yellow snake around her neck. That image of Britney with the snake around her neck has been one of Britney's most iconic moments. And the next 2 years were just as eventful for Britney. A now 21-year-old Britney was working on her next album, and her movie Crossroads premiered. 2002 was a difficult year for Britney because the good girl image from her teen years was still so heavily pushed onto her into adulthood. She was constantly... She's like trapped in a situation. A lot of, I think, like child stars get trapped in a situation where like they're supposed to portray like innocence when they're in their Disney years. Then they're supposed to be like hypersexualized when they like reach 16, which is already like really fucked up. And then afterwards, like the same media that like hypersexualizes them turn around and say, you're a fucking whore for behaving this way. A similar thing happened to Miley Cyrus too. I mean, straight up. And
And it is very, very weird. It is very, very fucking weird that that happened. And it's like, if she wants to do this, like if she wants to behave this way, or if she wants to fucking wear whatever the fuck she wants to wear, like she should be able to do so once she's a goddamn adult. You know what I mean?
Criticized for being too sexual. He's having to be this perfect role model for millions of kids around the globe. Britney's aunt was also diagnosed with cancer. And in 2002, the pop culture defining relationship between Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake had just as big of a fall. When Britney and
this was the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone, though. This fit. I think this is why chat hates Justin Timberlake. Never forget. This is like, this is the worst thing that he's ever done.
Justin went through a very, very public breakup, and Justin was not shy about airing relationship details. He also alluded to sleeping with Britney on Hot 97 FM when promoting his album, as the media was still weirdly obsessed with knowing if the world's pop princess had been sexually active. Justin took it further and hired a Britney lookalike for his song about their breakup, Cry Me a River. And this is where you see the shift against Britney Spears in the media start to begin. Britney was trying to shake the teenage image.
Damn, dude, I was like, I had no idea that like Cry Me a River was about Britney Spears. Like I literally did not know. I was just consuming this media as like some fucking random a Turkish dude in Turkey. Like, damn. I was a Justin stan when I was little and I didn't know this. Yeah, he's kind of a dick, dude. What the fuck?
And the media started to paint her as the villain in every aspect of her life.
It was a fucking banger though. Cry Me a River was like, Cry Me a River was just a straight certified banger, dude. Okay? It was so good. Cry Me a River was my first horny experience on MTV. I know you only watch it for the chick in the shower. No, Toxic was like... Toxic was formative for me, okay? Like, that was... You know, I still think about that. Like, it's important in my development.
The 2003 infamous VMA performance happened. Britney and Madonna kissed.
This was queer baiting. I think. Zoomers, did I do it right? I think I did it right. Will I get brownie points by the Zoomers for correctly pointing this out? Got it.
On stage, and the world went wild. And in 2003 on public television, this was considered shocking, and the media treated it as this huge deal.
Madonna. It's really creepy when you think about how the target audience for all of this was children. Like, not really. Like, you don't become like a fucking sex pest by like watching Hollywood garbage. Like, it's up to your fucking... First of all, it's not targeted for children, okay? It's targeted for everyone, adults primarily, and teens. But even then, it's like, why? Why is that bad? Like, I don't fucking understand. I mean, I don't understand.
It was great, you know, kissing Britney. Like, where's my kiss?
Yeah, it was unbelievable, unbelievable. I didn't know what to think. It just kind of happened right in front of you, and it was just, you had to take it in.
Come here! Madonna and Britney!
No!
No! Are you one of those straight guys who fantasizes about two women together? And is that too personal of a question?
Yes and yes.
Every straight male has that fantasy.
Which it was pretty iconic to see Britney and Madonna kiss. However, the...
Okay, it's literally... Okay, that... I see chat's point about the queer baiting thing. Yeah.
Media took this way too far and tried to paint Britney as the villain even further by saying she's a horrible role model.
Spears' sleazy slide continues. With each new release, she gets more irresponsible, immoral, and blatantly sexual. Steered teens away from this zone.
Model. One public official even got in trouble for saying that Britney Spears should be shot for kissing Madonna on TV. Around this time, Britney also released her 4th studio album, In the Zone. With hits like Breathe on Me and Toxic, this proved to be one of Britney's most iconic and successful eras to date. Everything Britney touched was gold. Anything she did was so talked about that she, as an entertainer, changed the pop music and entertainment industry forever. With iconic music videos like Toxic and performances to follow them up, Britney Spears was the name on everyone's lips in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, around this time, photos of Britney doing normal things for her age, like smoking and drinking, started to make the rounds in the media, saying that Britney was a terrible role model and that people should stop supporting her. The harassment,
wild partying, erratic behavior, like, people are so fucking with pop princess Britney Spears. Too sexy, too soon. What the fuck, dude? Yo, this is literally like if Twitch chat was the entire world, okay? This is basically like parasocial Twitch chatters who like take it way too fucking far, except it's adults and they're like trying to get other adults to join in on the fun, basically. It's so crazy. Which I guess what I'm trying to say is like what this has evolved into now is basically stan culture and parasocial relationships that like go way too fucking toxic. I'm realizing that right now.
By the media was getting out of hand, but no one, especially not Britney, was ready for what was about to come.
2004 marks a major shift in Britney's life. She clearly had enough of the control behind the scenes and the media's portrayal of her. It is January 1st, and Britney is spotted dancing the night away at Rain Las Vegas with Jason Alexander, a childhood friend from Kentwood, Louisiana. Jason and Britney are having such an amazing time in Vegas partying that in the early hours of January 3rd, they have an idea to do something wild and crazy. Britney and Jason hop into a lime green limousine and head down to the Clark County Courthouse to get a wedding license. Then at around 5 a.m., they arrive at a little white wedding chapel, famous for quick middle-of-the-night weddings. In just minutes, Jason and Britney laughed and cried their way through the infamous wedding ceremony. When Larry Rudolph and Lynn Spears learned of Britney's marriage, they went into a panic, and damage control mode set in. Larry went to George Maloof, owner of the Palms, for help getting an attorney to annul the marriage immediately.
After the quickie Las Vegas wedding, the poop hit the fan. Lynn went insane. They sent like an army of lawyers pouring into Vegas.
We just received a decree of annulment. There is no marriage now.
To be fair, that's like a horrible decision. But like, it's kind of funny that the family literally lost their shit. I mean, it's so obvious. They were like, oh no, our fucking golden egg-laying goose is about to be compromised by another person who would dare take advantage of her rather than us who take advantage of her.
They're both very happy that they've made the decision that they made to annul the marriage.
And at 4:30 p.m., Britney and Jason signed the annulment papers. According to George Maloof, they were tickled pink and gleeful when signing on the dotted line that would end the famous 55-hour marriage.
By marrying Jason, Britney may have been seeking revenge on the advisors who sold her as an untouchable virgin. And somewhere deep inside, on the mother who agreed to market her as a baby-faced sex bomb.
I can see...
When you look at Britney, what...
It does make sense as to why... like... No way, dude. The Macias with the fucking baddest of layups. Britney Spears' ex Jason Alexander seen attending pro-Trump Capitol protest. Oh my fuck! Hey, that's Louisiana, brother. Hey! That right there is a born and bred Louisiana boy. You better not be talking shit about my Louisiana boy. All right? Hey, I'll tell you what. Hey, that's a daddy right there. He care about America. You understand me? Care about the United States of Patriot right there. Gosh dang patriot.
What has her life been like? She's been managed. She's been managed.
I mean, dude, victim of divorce court. Obviously, he's a reactionary, dude. You crazy? He's a victim of divorce court. This is what happens when you get brutalized by divorce court. You become a reactionary dad.
by her mother, managed by managers, managed by the media. And so here she has a moment of freedom and a moment of self-choice. And she goes, you guys can't control who I am. You can't control what I do. I can do whatever I want.
2004 would continue to be a year of rebellion. Britney was working on her 4th studio album that never saw the light of day. All we know of what was probably going to be one of the best pop albums of all time is what Britney herself leaked without her team's knowledge.
How soon? 5 years? Would you like to have a guy?
That would be the ultimate dream.
Yeah?
That would be great.
Are you thinking you'll wait till you're 30?
I don't want to wait till 40. No. I would love to have a family. That would be when I'm the most content. My kids and just, I mean, they become your life. It's not all about you anymore, and you have a focus that's so beautiful.
She then locked eyes with Kevin Federline, who was previously a backup dancer for NSYNC at a Hollywood club. Kevin said it was love at first sight, and just like that, their whirlwind romance would begin. Kevin, however, was currently engaged to Shar Jackson, and they had their second baby on the way. The tabloids would explode with images of Kevin and Britney together, and Britney was being branded a homewrecker. But Britney didn't care. She was determined to live her life without the opinions of others influencing her. Just weeks after meeting, Britney invited Kevin to come with her on her European tour in London. During the tour, they would become the first vlog couple as they captured their romance and would later turn the footage into their own reality show called Chaotic. On the flight back, something big would happen.
How did he propose? Can I ask that, or is that too much? It might be a no.
I proposed.
You proposed? Really? And
Shit's about to super pop off now.
And did he say yes right away?
Not right away.
No? Yeah, because it didn't look like he wanted to get married. He said love is love, and that's a commitment enough. And
actually, I was a little rejected at first. I kind of got slapped down.
No, I told her, I told her that it's not right for the woman to ask the man's supposed.
I don't know who the fuck this is, but I'm blocked by them as well. God damn, dude. What the fuck is wrong with these fools, dude? Do it. Wait, what? Why did it?
Supposed to get on one knee and do it all right and this and that. And
whatever. Yeah. Exactly. Whatever.
Exactly.
No, I opened the link in
then you then had to
incognito.
turn around
I was
and
blocked
ask her.
by the dude.
Yeah, it took me about 5 minutes and I turned around.
Really? That's sweet.
Then on September 18, 2004, Britney and Kevin invited their family and friends over for what was supposed to be an engagement party. But it was actually a surprise wedding that Britney and Kevin had fully planned out. On October 15th, Britney announced on her website that she was taking some time off and she would let US Weekly overexpose other blondes for entertainment. At this point, she had had enough and was ready to just be a newlywed and start a family of her own. In April,
Just saying. I think people had. I think those who would financially benefit from her continued labor had a different point of view on her.
of 2005, just 1 year after meeting Kevin and marrying him, Britney announced that they were expecting their first baby.
Is having a baby a good career move for Britney? No. But is it a good personal growth move? Yeah, absolutely, because Britney has been controlled by her mom and her managers ever since she was like 9 years old. By having a baby, you can't take that away from her.
I think that's what we're seeing a lot of Britney's life right now, is the pendulum swing of having been controlled and contained so much by what other people have decided is right for her.
On September 14th, Sean Preston was born. For the first time in Britney's adult life, she was living exactly as she wanted. Because she was taking a break, she wasn't being exploited in the media as often, and she was getting to spend time as a new mom in her new home in Malibu. Things were really looking up, but unfortunately, this would only last for a very short period of time, as the media started to exploit her child and paint her as a bad mother. The paparazzi would harass Britney while she had her tiny baby with her. This could put Britney and her baby in potentially dangerous situations, as back in 2006, we didn't have the paparazzi laws that we have today to protect celebrity children.
She says her... Dude, the paparazzi were fucking insane. Like, we don't really think about it or talk about it now because, like, now that stuff is completely manufactured, and publicists will like reach out to the paparazzi to come in and like, you know, take photos and stuff. But early 2000s, dude, like, I remember growing up in an era where like they literally were fucking psychotic, like absolutely psychotic, where they would just go everywhere and wait for you to come outside and just like fucking snap insane photos. I don't know if like paparazzi is the actual reason why Princess Diana died, or if it was a different reason. You know, who knows? But you know.
Her greatest accomplishment is being a mom.
Motherhood's amazing.
But the one thing that gives her so much joy is, ironically, the very same.
I'm just gonna say that, like, I wouldn't just say it was the paparazzi that murdered Princess Diana. I don't know. Seems like there were some other more powerful beings, more powerful institutions that would have benefited from such a thing, such a predicament at the time. I think maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I just not gonna sit here and be like it was the paparazzi that did that. They are still fucking assholes, though.
Thing that's made these past few months a very difficult time for Britney Spears. In February, Britney was photographed driving on the Pacific Coast Highway with her baby in her lap, in the front seat. It was a picture that became not only a punchline.
Bro, this is literally like, yo, this is literally the most considerate and careful Louisiana mom. Okay, that's what this is. This is Florida behavior. Okay, that's what she's doing.
But in her defense, the baby had to sit on her lap because her husband Kevin was asleep in the child seat. So apparently.
But the source of serious debate all across the country.
I think it's very important that Britney gets some baby safety training.
You were photographed, I guess, by the paparazzi again, pursuing you. And there was Sean on your lap in the car.
To be fair, that is like incredibly dangerous. But it's kind of wild where, like, in a normal situation, you see that and you go, hey, don't fucking do that, you psycho. What the fuck's wrong with you? But when you're Britney Spears, it's like the entire world is literally saying that to you, including a guy who had a fucking red switch in his room to like, lock people in as he masturbated, allegedly. Okay? Yes, I'm talking about Matt Lauer. He no longer has this position of prominence anymore because, you know, prolific sexual assault and abuse accusations in the workplace. I mean, this motherfucker had like supervillain layer shit in his office.
Yeah.
Take me through what happened there.
If right now we got in the car and went to Starbucks, you would see 20 photographers there. And I went to Starbucks and I see a bunch of photographers and I'm scared and I want to get out of the situation and my baby's crying. They're coming up on the, you know, the sides of the car, which is a scary situation for me, you know, and they're banging on the windows and that's not something I want my baby to, you know, so I get my baby out of the car and I go home. So, I mean, and I just feel like that they're taking cheap shots.
But the fact of the matter is, while they pursue you, and we can argue for a long time, they shouldn't be doing it. And I would agree with you on that completely. They managed to snap a picture that didn't cast you in the best light.
Oh, of course, that is their job, and they do a very good job at it. And they've crossed the line so many times, you know, and I think because I'm a sweet young girl, nothing ever gets really done about it, you know.
When you were driving with Sean on your lap, did it clearly?
And it's seriously that driving incident. I did it with my dad. I'd sit in his lap and I'd drive. We're country. That's what, you know what I mean?
See? Chatters. See? She's just like, I'm a Louisiana mom, baby.
But what happened, though, it crossed from a paparazzi incident to next day, it's in the newspapers, and you've got all these legitimate people weighing in, saying, you know what? That's dangerous. And she put her child at risk. You saw the questions that were being asked. Is Britney a bad mom?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, did Britney record a bad song?
Mm-hmm.
Is Britney wearing a bad outfit? Is Britney in a bad marriage?
Yeah.
Is Britney a bad mom?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's America for you.
Yeah, but as a mother, that has to hit pretty close to home.
Mm-hmm.
This is so fucked up, dude. It's really bad that they're saying you're a horrible, horrible mother. I mean, it's not like they're saying your music sucks. They're saying you're a fucking horrible mother.
Yeah, makes you really strong.
Make you weep?
Oh, I've wept. Yeah, I've definitely wept just with the world, you know, how judgmental they are. You know what? I know I'm a good mom.
But just a few weeks after the baby in the lap incident, Britney's son, while in the care of a nanny, fell out of a high chair and banged his head.
You took him to the doctor?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, of course.
So you walked into the hospital and said he bumped his head, fell out of a high chair.
And then the doctors acted really funny with me. I know, it was really bizarre.
Well, how'd they act funny?
I don't want to say, but they did.
Suspicious?
Like I said, I don't want to say what they did or what they said. But it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Do you think, though, Britney, that because of those questions that were asked after that picture on Pacific Coast Highway with Sean in your lap, that the doctor in that emergency room or that hospital said, wait a second, maybe I have a bad mom on my hands?
I was just happy that my son was okay, and I wanted to get home and get out of there.
And then, not long after that, you got a visit from the family services people.
Yeah, in which actually they felt really bad about it. They said, we don't even know why we're here.
So in other words, they came because it's their job to come. They have to investigate.
They didn't have to come. The doctor there made them come because I didn't bring my doctor there with me.
2520 when they interview one of the paparazzi people? Okay, I'll look at it.
I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, but it sucks you right in, and it's hard to get out of it once you start making the kind of monies that these guys were making.
Photos of Britney can sell for up to $1 million each.
Guys, be nice, guys, be nice. Everybody's gonna get their shots, guys. In the beginning, when paparazzis were following Britney, you could tell she enjoyed it. She would give it up the shots.
They always used to say like freaky shit too. You hear them? He goes, talk to me, baby girl. Like, dude, the 90s are so disgusting, dude. I feel filthy. I feel so filthy looking back at like the 2000s and the 90s. Like, it's so wild. Like, what the fuck? Yo, low key, cancel culture and like fucking woke lord behavior is not the worst thing. I swear to God. I'm glad we fucking cleaned up at least certain parts of our attitude in the way that we like behave and shit. Obviously, it's still gross and gnarly, but it's just so fucking nasty. The reason why I'm saying low key is because I grew up in it. So for me, I'm not looking at it from the outside until just now. And instead looking at it and thinking, this wasn't the 90s. I said 90s and 2000s, okay? So it's so strange to me because I didn't notice it. I had no fucking clue like this shit was bad or happening. You know what I mean? If a like adult man, like a 30-plus-year-old man, asked a teenager, like a 17-year-old pop star, about potentially getting breast implants, now I feel like there would be a fuckload more backlash towards that. You know, the stands would find out like whether or not they were creepy in the workplace immediately. You know, Stan Twitter would just go dialing in and like literally leak all of their fucking details, dox them, shit like that. You know what I mean? Paparazzi harassment doesn't happen anymore. I think it still happens, especially in the UK and shit, because they're fucking wild out there. UK media is dog shit, but it doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen in America to the same degree, because now it's more so focused on a natural relationship between publicists and the paparazzi. Like, they're still terrible, but not to the same degree, dude. It's nowhere near as crazy. You're nuts if you think it's crazy to the same degree. And partially it's that way because of Instagram, I think. Because like celebrities already open up on purpose to commoditize a different part of their lives on social media in general, which is part of the reason why like paparazzi photos are not as worth as much anymore. Like those publications are not in circulation to the same degree that they are. Social media has like literally opened up this like parasocial relationship that people were looking for back then. I think this is my speculation. You know, like everybody's got cameras on their fucking phones and stuff. Daily Mail still has an entire economy that revolves around it. Like I have an entire economy revolving around the top of the hour ad break. You know what I mean? Where I run an ad break at the top of the hour and my segues are fucking sick. Where I suck you in to the commentary and help you forget that the top of the hour is here, and then I fucking drop it on you. And if you'd like to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour ad break, then you can subscribe. You can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. And then you can use an ad blocker or a VPN. I mean, this is so good. You guys got to fucking celebrate when the segues are good instead of doing PogU tomato time. I'm just saying. Come on, boys. You know that was a good one. Just admit it. You know in your heart. Here's the ad break now.
Waving. She was very friendly, sweetheart of a girl. It was like she needed us and we needed her. We both needed each other. And it was a great kind of relationship.
Party at my house.
All right, let's go. Thank you, Britney. We love you. Yeah, sure. Just like,
well, there was always that man is saying that because he's so horny, because he's like, you know, I'm gonna sell this for like $5K minimum. You know what I mean? He's just like, we love you.
A little bit of a hunger for the unposed photographs.
Wow, dude, we really, honestly, we really just we really did stalkers dirty, dude. Back in the day, if you were a stalker, you could literally commoditize that psychopathic behavior to the tune of millions of dollars. And now if you're just a stalker, you just, you know, follow your favorite personality around on social media and like post ridiculous shit in the replies of their fucking Twitter and you know, try to come into his Twitch chat and say dumb shit.
Sometimes their personal life becomes bigger than their work.
As we had more.
So the difference between like what that pap was talking about, where like Britney Spears enjoyed this relationship versus when she didn't, is again, celebrities like paparazzi, when that paparazzi is, wait, what is this? Britney Spears' Instagram? Are you literally linking Britney Spears' fucking Instagram, dude? You think... I'm so confused. Like, you think people don't know what her fucking Instagram is? Thanks for letting us know about Britney Spears' Instagram that has 30 million followers, by the way. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, this Britney Spears guy, kind of fucking famous, for those of you who don't know. So, have you seen this? Google.com. So, notice how, like, he was saying that, oh, she was into it at first. Yeah, the difference there is consent. That consent comes from her and her publicist setting up these photos versus all of them trying to catch her off guard.
More of that kind of material in the magazine, you know, the sales just went up.
Britney Spears and Kevin Federline.
Britney then makes an announcement that attracts even more paparazzi.
And now, the baby, that's very exciting. Now, you have to be really excited about that. The last one, yeah.
No, up to this point, she is consenting. She's, like, fully... Like, I mean, she's being exploited, but not to the same degree as, like, the conservatory. This is, like, pre-2007.
Once she started having her kid with Kevin Federline, It exploded.
Oh, keep him in line, guys. Keep him back up, guys.
Everyone wanted a piece of Britney. The tabloids were paying a lot of money.
Back away now.
We want to know what she's buying. Hey, we make you go measure for you.
And almost immediately, there's the perception from the tabloids that Britney is an unfit mother.
Pop star Britney Spears is defending her actions this morning after photos surfaced of her driving with her infant son in her lap on Monday.
The headline. So we saw all of that. I want to just see like what the paparazzi has to do to justify this fucking take, if he has any more justifications for it. Because the rest of this, we're going to go back to the original video that we were watching that details this pretty well. Let's keep going.
People a lot of times think because you're a celebrity that you're taken care of more. In some situations, people, you're not, you get it worse.
In another incident, Britney and her baby were yet again being harassed by paparazzi, making it difficult for her to even get to her car. Britney tripped, almost dropping Sean, but she caught herself. Later that day, that situation really shook her and she was spotted crying in a restaurant, but even the owner of the restaurant started taking pictures of her. And Britney just tripping over her feet for just a moment and catching herself was used to paint her as this person who saves her coffee over her baby. There was no empathy for this new mother, and the media didn't care about the potentially dangerous situations they were putting her baby in. All Britney had ever wanted was to be a mother, but she was watching her baby get exploited in a similar way that she had been. As she was going through all of this, the media didn't know it yet, but she was actually already pregnant with baby number 2. On top of the media being pregnant and adjusting to motherhood, Britney's marriage to Kevin was on the rocks. At that time, fans and tabloids were not a fan of Kevin. They felt like he was always in it for the money and the fame. There was even a popular website started called DivorceKevin.com, and there was even a petition asking Britney to divorce Kevin.
Bro, this is literally Stan behavior, dude. This is actually fucking Stan behavior. This is the same shit.
That got 200,000 signatures. Then on September 12, 2006, Britney gave birth to Jaden, her and Kevin's second son. After the birth of Jaden, her marriage went on a downward spiral. Kevin would leave
What the fuck was that edit,
Britney,
dude?
who was just a few weeks postpartum, to go party in Vegas. And that would be Britney's final straw. In November of 2006, she would file for divorce, and this would be a major turning point in Britney's life. Nothing about Britney's childhood was typical. It's almost like she was specifically made just to become a star, pushed into this life from when she was a toddler. Then this life turned into one of her few escapes from her dad's alcoholism and her parents' screaming matches. But then her only escape was exploited for everything it was worth by the media, her family, and people she trusted. A very betrayed Britney Spears was heading into what would be the worst year of her life. And the world didn't know it yet, but we were going to be witnesses to one of the worst abuses of the media in modern day history. Pop culture was about to be changed forever.
Bro, this is like, dude, this is kind of wild to watch unfold again. Like, especially because I lived through that era. Oh, we're definitely watching part 2. This is very well done. Holy shit. Congratulations to Deep Dive. God damn, dude. This is a good ass fucking. It's kind of crazy because it's like, you know, this is just like, this strikes me as a like a person from Louisiana just trying to live her best Louisiana life. And like Kevin Federline, from what I understand, is just like white trash dude, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, being a fucking asshole, and then it gets heightened in the media. Like, he's a bad, like, if the media wasn't like round the clock covering all of this, it's just like a fucking shitty breakup between like two adults that were, you know, behaving in ways that, you know, in ways that were bad. Definitely did not foster a growth or a productive environment for the child, stuff like that. But like, you know, this shit happens all the time. It happens every goddamn day. And it doesn't lead to gigantic mental breakdowns that are very public. And that's partially due to the media's involvement in it and commodifying every part of this experience. Oh, this is really good. I'm fucking diving deep, dude. I'm actually diving super deep to this.